The only place that you get the truth ahead of time. It's funny, man. We say things here on the National Football Show, and then funny how it translates out a year and a half later. By the way, we told you this yesterday, and we're asking you and imploring you to do this. Every time you hit a like in the first 15 minutes of the program, you are sending a message to NovaCare. I'm not kidding. They want this show off the air. The more likes in the first 15 minutes, we're gold. And we've been killing it. And this is all because of you. I want to thank you. Hit the likes. Also, super chats all go to the top. I stop whatever I'm doing. I stop whatever we're doing to go to our super chats. Guys have been absolutely sensational. Please stop Howie. That's what this is. Stop Howie. Hit the likes. Appreciate you guys. What a great time on the sports calendar. By the way, 4 hours sponsored and powered by our friends at BetUS. We implore you to go to the website during this football season. Week 8 of the NFL starts up tonight, and it starts with JAKIB and also with BetUS. Please go to our website. Look at Dre. Hey, can't stop Big Sills. Dre, can't stop Big Sills and Dre. That's what that means. Hey, man, I mean this with all my heart. You guys have become now family. You know, I'll say this to you, and I'm not just blowing you to tell you this. I've had more fun doing this than in my entire 24 years of radio. I'm trying to think. San Francisco was awful fun. Tampa was great. Okay? I was there on the market and in the market and on the air for 15 years. Isn't that funny? You know what's funny? People will, if you go to the internet, right, Xander? You would think Big Sills was fired by 15 jobs. It's not true. I was fired by 2 jobs in 30 years. And I've only had, let's see, KMBR, WDAE, QAM, Mighty 1090, San Diego, the Odyssey station, and this. I was never fired in San Diego. They moved me to Boston. So that's a lie. I was never fired in Phoenix because I didn't want to move to Phoenix for $57,000. I said, I don't think so. And it's not true. In 34 years of broadcasting, I've only had 6 jobs. It's crazy. You read the internet, here's Sileo, he's had another. I'm like, that's not true. Some of those jobs we weren't the main guy, and we just did it a little bit just because we were trying to make a living. They weren't my full-time gig. It's crazy. Anyway, guys, me up there, senor. I'm sure your takes will be sensational. By the way, please, first 15 minutes, likes are more essential than any other time. And this is how we're growing this bad puppy. All right. As I said, sports calendar, insane. Week 8 of the NFL tonight, as I said, week 9 of college football. We're already here at week 9 of the college football season. I know. Look at Eagle fans. Sales tax-free in Arizona. Yeah, well, I don't care what tax-free is at 50 grand, quite frankly. I won't leave my driveway for less than 100. How you doing? That's not going to happen. God, man. Hey, this is going to be a little bumpy today because finally somebody with even more credibility than what some of you think I don't have has over me has made a comment about your boy Jalen Hurts. World Series starts tomorrow. Should be exciting. By the way, today, our grades for the week for the Giant game will come out. Also, we will talk a little bit more about Saquon Barkley as well. We're efforting today. It's a 50-50 shot we get Michael Irvin. He's in transit. We've sent him a link. And we're hoping that we get Michael Irvin. So if I keep checking my phone and you see me checking my phone, I'm checking to see if Michael Irvin is just going to pop on with us, because that's exactly what he did last time, right, Xander? He popped on, and I kept trying to get him, and eventually we got him in a limo. So we're hoping to do that today with Michael Irvin. He said yesterday he would try. He said this morning he would also try to do it. So they're going to try to find some time with us. He's on his way out to California from Dallas. So we'll see if we can get a hold of him while he's in transit. Also, hit that like button, as we said. I want to play something for you. And by the way, I can't believe how this one guy here, he's actually more brutal than me. And I know how some of you will take this, but it's truth. And this is how NFL people talk. Please hit the like button here. I want to do something here for you. This is Greg Cosell from the NFL Network on his evaluation and breakdown of Jalen Hurts' play. By the way, Greg has no money in the game here on Hurts, good or bad. He talks about every quarterback like this, good or bad. This is what he does at NFL Films. This is what he says about your guy, Jalen Hurts.
They're a difficult offense to watch right now. Jalen Hurts is not playing very good football. They're a running football team. Their defense has played a lot better the last couple of weeks. Now, people can say they beat the Giants and the Browns, and that's fair because those are two of the lesser offenses in the league. But if you just look at what they're doing and how individuals are playing, they're playing better on defense. But the Eagles can't sustain, if they want to be a true playoff team, they can't sustain the way they played last week. Your quarterback has to be a bigger factor. Jalen Hurts, for whatever reason, Ross, and he's played a lot of football games, and you do them in the preseason, so you're familiar with him. For whatever reason, he's just not seeing things clearly right now. Basic concepts he's not seeing, and that really handicaps and hamstrings your offense when your quarterback just can't execute basic concepts, and that's what he's struggling with right now. They're a difficult offense.
Ross Tucker podcast, by the way, Greg was talking to our friend Ross Tucker. He can't execute basic concepts. I've been saying that since he's been your starting quarterback. This is not an epiphany to me. I've been saying this since he started. He cannot compete on a yearly basis for a Super Bowl when he can't make the simplest plays. That quarterback can't make the simple throws. You saw it last week to Barkley and Smith. And for some of you who have been fighting this, now you're getting the national people going, he struggles to see the simple plays. I'm going to make the comment here. Jalen Hurts is not the future of the Eagles at quarterback. It's now time to come to grips with this. He's not good enough. You overpaid him and you overevaluated him. This is a guy who breaks down 32 quarterbacks for the last 25 years and has said now he struggles with the basic concept. And I don't want to wait until Jalen Hurts gets better. I mean, I don't want to wait any longer. It's time to start evaluating what your options are, just like in Cleveland. How about this? This is not me talking. That guy's validating what I've been saying for 4 years. Some of you still don't want to believe it. He cannot make the simple reads. Now everyone is seeing it. By the way, do you know what's happened to Hurts? The league has caught up with him like they did with Carson Wentz. Both those quarterbacks couldn't adjust and elevate the level of play to counteract what the D coordinators were doing against their skill set. That's why you have certain guys look great early, and that's why you have certain guys look great later, like Jared Goff. Goff struggled early, like most good, talented quarterbacks. Why? Progression reading, feet, reading defenses, learning how to do that. But what was the one thing he had? He had a skill set on progression reading. That's why he's better now than he was earlier in his career. And once he got proper coaching, Johnson in Detroit, Sean McVay in Los Angeles, that elevated his play. He knows how to counteract the DCs because the defensive coordinators are constantly looking on how to go against your strength and your skill set. Hurts can't. He's not talented enough. This is why he was replaced at Alabama. Because Tua is more of a prototype quarterback. Is he an athlete like Jalen Hurts? No. Does he have a stronger arm than Jalen Hurts? Tua? No. Is he a better quarterback from the pocket? He's a superior quarterback from the pocket than Jalen Hurts. And now you have great Cosell and others coming around. And by the way, that comment was made today on the Ross Tucker podcast. And I've been telling you for 3.5 years, this is what was going to happen. That offense is not sustainable. You know, Xander said something the other day. Well, we're a running team. You're not going to win a Super Bowl just being a running team. Ask Tennessee. They had the best runner in the last 15 years in the league. They got to an AFC championship game, but they never got to a Super Bowl just being a running team. And their quarterback was Ryan Tannehill. I mean, there's no question. Look, you know what's going to be interesting today? You're going to still have people fighting for Hurts that he's going to get. No, he's not. Hurts is never going to get better. He doesn't have that skill set in him. That's why, by the way, now we go to the Eagles' fault in this. The Eagles are coaching a guy who will never be the guy who Greg Cosell says struggles with common and easy reads. He struggles to make the easy play in the passing game. Getting off that 22 mentality of how you played and having him in that RPO has been the biggest mistake in the coaching philosophy of Jalen Hurts. I think you could have extended that window of Hurts 4 more years playing that style of football. Xander goes, well, the league would have caught up. Okay. They would have caught up. Keep adding good players around him then. Like you do with A. Do you understand? I think the Eagles know this. I think Philly knows this. Why? Because that's why you've paid $50 million with wide receivers and 10 on a back. You know the quarterback is limited. There's no other reason. The quarterback is limited. We don't even pay Quinion after his rookie contract, right? We don't even pay Quinion after his rookie contract, right? We didn't pay TJ Watt. Yeah, I hope we replace the quarterback before the team gets old. Dre, I got what you're saying here. You paid him too soon. Absolutely. Absolutely. Paid him too soon. I said that. I said, why are you paying him? You have another year. Shit, they let Dak roll in his final year of his contract twice. Hey, you have taken a player like Jalen Hurts, and you've absolutely, for whatever ego reason, thought you could do with him like you thought you could change Bryce Huff into a 3-down defensive player. That's a freaking ego issue. That is not playing to a player's skill set. That's an ego thing. That's not even coaching. That's off the wall thinking that you know better and you're trying to change the football gods. Jaylen is the worst hype. Man, hate hearing him speak. Dude, I like Jalen Hurts. I like him as the face of a franchise. I don't have a problem with the way he's just a little weird. It's all right. I'd rather have weird Hurts than asshole Aaron Rodgers. It's okay. Hey, man, I put up with that BS, that A.J. Brown, but that's okay. A.J. Brown is going to give you 1,500 yards. Hit the like button, please. Greg Cosell is telling you that he can't execute the simple plays. He's struggling at executing the simple plays. I mean, you can't get any more of a critique of a quarterback after 4 years than that. Sills, did the NFL's D catch up with Hurts or did forcing her? I think it's both. Bob. I think this is both. Bob, I think it's both. I think they caught up with Hurts, like Xander said, with the RPO. And I think the organization gone on changing the offenses. They hired the wrong quarterback coach. They hired the wrong coordinator for him. Kingsbury was the guy. Or a guy like Todd Monken. Dude, it is now more evident than ever he's not the future. We're saying it right here today on October 24th. That quarterback is not the future of the team. And the reason why you have so much money based on the offensive side of the football is because of the inadequacies that the quarterback has in his skill set. You have to have superstar wide receivers. You have to pay them big money. You have to have a gigantic running back to make it 10. Don't you find it funny that the Eagles, for the first time in their entire franchise, went out and spent $10 million on a running back? I mean, you can't get away from this. You cannot get away from this. You're never going to be a Super Bowl contender. You are never going to be a Super Bowl contender with Jalen Hurts as a quarterback for your football team. That's just not going to happen. And now you've got Greg Cosell making the comment. Dude, his critique of Hurts is so sharp. There was no, well, he'll get better. He doesn't think he's going to. He can't make the simplest plays. These are not my words. They have been my take for 4 years. Would love to see a hypothetical world where Jaden Daniels has our O-line and weapon cells. What would you be willing to give up for Myles Garrett? 2 1s and a 3. And maybe Jordan Davis. I don't know. 2 1s and Jordan Davis? Take him. I don't want him. Yeah, he's misunderstood. You don't misunderstand a guy who's got 6 tackles and has no impact on your run game. That's not misunderstanding. I can understand if you guys were number 1 in run stopping. You're 16th. And it's because of Carter, not him. And it's because you played 2 teams that can't run the ball. Really, 3. The Bucs couldn't run the ball. I mean, who are you kidding me here? Dude, this isn't just a Sileo opinion now. Now we have Greg Cosell adding to it. Now you have Greg Cosell going, Greg Cosell breaks down every play of a quarterback every week. And then he puts it out on video, and he goes on the Ross Tucker podcast, and he said, this guy's just not, he's not playing good ball now. He's just not playing good football. That's why I keep asking you, do you think, I even asked Marcus Hayes this yesterday, do you think Jalen Hurts has improved since the start of 23? I keep saying I don't see it. I don't think he's played good football since the Super Bowl. He's had spurts of it. Hurts brought us home against the Saints. The simple plays won us the game. RC3. Again, here's a guy that's going to fight for a guy that's not playing good football against the 2-5 Saints. Jesus criminy. Dennis Allen will probably be fired Monday. This guy's crowing over the Saints. Brought us home against the 2-5 Saints. Get this. Here you go. Here you'll have a guy still on that back of the bus and on that bandwagon. What quarterback plays good football? Greg Cosell's talking about him not playing good football and not making the basic throws and basic concepts. Joe Burrow's playing great ball, and his team's bad. There's a difference and a distinction. Burrow's completing 70% of his passes on a 3-4 football team. Bad football team ain't affecting him. Why is it affecting Hurts? Been an Eagle fan for 40 years. Frustrated. Let's see what Tanner McKee can do with this offense. Absolutely not, David. You've paid the guy $50 million and you're in with him for the next 2 years. Don't work like that. What do you think? You're at Temple? It doesn't work like that in the NFL. Jaylen does have extraordinary plays occasionally. He does. That secure wins. But they wouldn't be needed if he were more consistent with the other 95% of the game. Thank you, Dalton, for the super chats. Please hit the like button. Senor, I'm not reading your bullshit on Hurts. I'm not going to read a guy defending things that other people are now seeing in him on basic plays. There's not an elite quarterback in the NFL where people say this. He can't make the easy throw, or he can't make the distinction. It's absurd. It's absurd.
To watch right now. Jalen Hurts is not playing very good football. They're a running football team. Their defense has played a lot better the last couple of weeks. Now, people can say they beat the Giants and the Browns, and that's fair because those are two of the lesser offenses in the league. But if you just look at what they're doing and how individuals are playing, they're playing better on defense. But the Eagles can't sustain, if they want to be a true playoff team, they can't sustain the way they played last week. Your quarterback has to be a bigger factor. Jalen Hurts, for whatever reason, Ross, and he's played a lot of football games, and you do them in the preseason, so you're familiar with him. For whatever reason, he's just not seeing things clearly right now. Basic concepts he's not seeing, and that really handicaps and hamstrings your offense when your quarterback just can't execute basic concepts, and that's what he's struggling with right now. They're difficult.
That's an NFL talent evaluator. Basic concepts, he can't make them. Basic concepts. And as you saw, Ross Tucker podcast with Greg Cosell. Basic concepts he can't make. Hit the like button, please. Hurts reminds me of a catcher in the major league who couldn't throw back to the pitcher. Hurts can't throw a screen to save his life. That's why they don't have a screen game. They've never had a screen game. They really have never really had a short intermediate passing game or a check down game at all. You know, all those check downs that they were practicing in camp, they have not used them at all in any way whatsoever. And you know what? When you have that thing eliminated from your pass offense, you eliminate the things that have made Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady Super Bowl champions. I mean, that's what made those guys Super Bowl champions. It feels like money got to Hurts when he got paid. No, Devontae, I don't believe that about the kid. I just think the world caught up with him. And that's why Howie that's why the rumors are the Eagles are in the process of potentially signing a guy like Cooper Kupp. Why would you need Cooper Kupp, and why would that even be a thought process for the Eagles to put Cooper Kupp on your team unless you didn't have confidence in your quarterback? You're going to have three guys making excess of $27 million a year because your quarterback sucks that bad? That's an indictment on the quarterback. Kendu, thank you so much. Love your take on the Eagles, Sills. Thank you, Kendu. Thank you. Bro, when I heard Greg Cosell validate my 3.5 years today, he's not the only one saying this. Basic fundamentals he struggles at. And then you have the balls of Kellen Moore and Nick telling you different things at the press conference. He's not playing good football. He's not. He's had a stretch of 2 games that covered his weaknesses. I didn't think he played poorly in the Cleveland game against a pretty good defense. I thought he was okay. Shit. I've seen Sam Darnold this year do that. I've seen Baker Mayfield do that. I've seen Geno Smith. I think he's kind of in that room. He's not playing as good as Darnold right now. But Jalen Hurts is Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with those 3 guys. Sills, we got there. You got there because of the exceptional talent that you had with that 53-man roster, a shitty schedule, and a watered-down playoffs. You played the Giants and Daniel Nobody, and then you played a headless 49er team in the NFC title game. Because why? Reddick ruined it. The best player in the playoffs that year, especially in the NFC playoffs for the Eagles, was Hassan Reddick. Hey, let's get those likes up. Hey, thank you very much. Please get the likes up. I appreciate that. Very good. Thank you, Dre. How many people in here believe Jalen Hurts is the future of the Eagles? How many people in here still believe that? That he's the future? I know you want him to be. Sean says, I do. Me. Why? Okay, I want to hear from the ones. Give me a reasoning why you think he's the future of your team. And don't use the Super Bowl because Jimmy Garoppolo got to a Super Bowl. Jake Delhomme got to a Super Bowl. Rex Grossman got to a Super Bowl. Colin Kaepernick got to a Super Bowl. And so did Jalen Hurts. Okay? The difference is the elite quarterbacks win them. And I showed you in the last 12 years, there's only one not elite quarterback that won a Super Bowl. Nick Foles. Only one. He's 25 is not a reason. You could be 25 and blow. Not getting a set. Hey, that's a great comment right there. I like that. And Nick was elite for a three-game span. And let's not forget something. That guy, as I said before to Xander, that guy was the weirdest substitute teacher of all time. 26 TDs, 2 picks, Pro Bowl. I mean, all-time percentage in completions in the playoffs. He's 4-2 in the play. It's weird. Weird. Super Bowl MVP. I mean, weird on how that guy could. He was a lot like Eli. Nick Foles was a lot like Eli. Very streaky. Very streaky. Super chats go to the top. Just about to say Reddick got us to the Super Bowl, not Hurts. Even Justin Fields is progressing faster. Great take, Kim. Last year, I believed. This year, my concerns are growing. JAKIB, that's an okay room to be in. JAKIB, that's an okay room to be in. Okay? That's okay to be in that, Dan. JAKIB, let me ask you this. Did you believe, JAKIB, in Carson Wentz? Did you believe in Carson Wentz? And all of a sudden, you had to say what JAKIB said. Man, I really believed in the guy, but now I'm having concerns. Now I'm having concerns. But here's the difference. Carson Wentz could read defenses. He just didn't have the mental fortitude to fight off negativity, which beat him down personally. That's an internal meltdown that he couldn't overcome. I think, and I happen to think Jalen's a tougher guy. I just don't think he's not as talented as Carson Wentz as a quarterback. He's just not. But he's more mentally tougher. That's the difference in the two. Wentz is more skilled. And it's evident. He never had the guys that Jalen Hurts had built around him, ever. There were no 2,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard backs. They didn't have any of that shit. None of that shit. He was throwing the trash cans. I showed you that one stat. The year he threw for $4,000, there wasn't a wide receiver on the team that had over 500 yards in reception yards. How does a guy do that? And you got a guy with 2 1,000-yard receivers the last 2 years, and he can't throw over 3,900 yards. How's that possible? And you play an extra game. Yes, did. Wentz kept repeating the same excuses, but continued the same results. It's feeling deja vu. Okay? Dude, Jalen Hurts has not accomplished anything that Carson Wentz did as a Philly quarterback. Nothing. Carson Wentz is the all-time single-season passing touchdown leader, yards leader, helped you get to an AFC championship because he secured home field for you. He was instrumental. 75% of that Super Bowl was on his back. And Nick brought you home to 25%. He won 11-2 and finished second in the MVP voting. And he owns a Super Bowl ring. Hurts is nowhere near any of that. Get this. You may not want to hear that because I know you don't. Show me one thing he's done better. He got to a Super Bowl by himself. Fair enough. Fair enough. But I can name you more things that guy has done than that guy. He helped us get to a Super Bowl. Sills, he got to a Super Bowl, okay? Wentz is the all-time leading passer for your franchise. Touchdowns. MVP second runner-up. Secured home field advantage. This guy's not very skilled. Now you got Greg Cosell saying it. Basic concepts he can't execute. Who talks like that about an elite quarterback in today's NFL? Who talks like that? I'm not going to debate with people like Senor about a guy who can't complete a simple pass and struggles with simple concepts. There's no debate. It's the Josh Allen and Hurts debate, which is a freaking absolute stupid comment and stupid argument. It's like comparing Michael Jordan to like Clyde Drexler. They got to let him play his game like the Ravens do Lamar. Sean, yes. Yes. Get this. I said that Wentz was in the same room with Josh Allen. I never said that. Sills, the only way Hurts is the future of this team is if the organization abandons their philosophy and embraces Hurts' skills. That's the only way you're going to save this. Absolutely. But they're not going to do this because they don't value coaches, Bob. They don't value the coaches' opinions. They value their own opinions. Remember, Howie Roseman is the guy who makes all football and personnel decisions for the Philadelphia Eagles. Your coaches don't. No one else does but him. He is the guy that has the philosophical beliefs. He believes in plug and play, and he believes that Hurts can become a pocket passer the same way he believes Bryce Huff will become a 3-down player. You know why? Because he believes it through his analytic guys. The reason that you don't hang around the Super Bowl rim on a consistent basis, and you don't. The only time you really hung around the Super Bowl rim was when Andy was here. You have 1-year windows at best. And 17, let's face it, looks more and more like a 1-year hit. The 22, you had the roster. You had the team. You didn't have the coaches. You had a stupid fundamental philosophy. That's Hurts' last great game. Then the league caught him. Happens to a lot of players. Okay? At least Wentz had an excuse. He was never the same after his torn ACL, and the organization never coached him the same. I'll tell you what, like I said, MSIP, there was no question about it. When I watched Carson Wentz play early in his career, I thought he was the next coming of Brett Favre. Hurts isn't far off from being back in a Super Bowl. Listen to this. Hurts isn't far off from being back from a Super Bowl. We hit big-time edge rusher, hit on a couple draft picks on defense. We'll be back in the Super Bowl next year and win it. The reason you won't win a Super Bowl is because your quarterback can't make the simplest of plays. I told you this at the beginning of the season, and I'll continue to say it one more time. Please hit the like button. I'll say it to you again. I'm going to go knee-deep on this guy now for the rest of the year because he's not going to get better. He's just not. Okay? Here. This guy, Love Hurts, said, we don't know ball if you don't think Hurts is a generational talent. Now, the shit was funny. I'm not understanding what you're saying. I'm not. 215, you're throwing it at me. You think Jalen Hurts is a generational talent when you've got people saying he can't make the simplest of plays? Jesus criminy. 2024 Shows the flaws of analytics for sure. From drafting of analytics, absolutely. Big play game from Barkley. First quarter run game. By the way, we're going to talk about Barkley here in a minute. Let's see what Senor says about why Carson Wentz sucked and Jalen's better. Who was to play for Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts not being able to develop? All on Howie and not any of the coaches? You must have missed what I said here. See? Senor listens to 5%, which is normal on when people are talking. That you'll take 5% of what someone says so that it fits some sort of wild narrative of yours. I said without a doubt, they tried to make him into something. He walked away from what he did best in 22, and they should have rode it as long as they did. They didn't do it, and they've turned him into an ineffective quarterback. It's on them, and it's on – but you overvalued and overestimated the quarterback's ability. Do you understand Jalen Hurts is a mistake? What he was drafted for was to be a backup. You have a backup quarterback masquerading as an elite quarterback, and he's that. That's who he is. He was drafted as Carson Wentz's backup. Now, some would go, Sills, wasn't Kirk Cousins drafted as a backup to RG3? For sure. But Cousins showed you the ability to be able to read defenses and throw from the pocket. You need to put a Eagle Roundtable together. Love to get these groups at the table. It'd be epic. Like the idea. It's a great idea. QB's a bust. It's time to accept reality. But Kim, he was always a backup quarterback masquerading as an elite guy. When you gave him the 50, it clouded your view and judgment of him. Not you, I'm saying. And by the way, to Senor's point, the organization expedited it. Tell me this. Why do organizations like Buffalo and Green Bay and Kansas City, why are they subtracting elite players and bringing in good players, not spectacular players? Because their quarterbacks can win games. And the quarterback's the guy. Philly's one of the only places, along with San Francisco and Purdy, that they keep adding marquee names. Why? Because of the ineffective abilities of the quarterback skill set. Assuming the Birds move off in a few years, okay. What would you look for in a replacement? Do you go into the draft? Yeah, go into the draft. These kids today that are coming out. But the problem again, Josh, let me give you a Dallas Cowboy mentality here. Okay, Josh? If you go back into the draft again, what's to say you're not going to do the same thing you did to Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts because of the philosophical beliefs that you have? What's to say you're not going to destroy that guy? When you have an ego, when you have personality, and you have a mindset that you believe that you know what you're doing, you're not budging off that. Ask Doug Peterson. But Sills, would you have drafted another quarterback or tagged Hurts, even though you couldn't tag him because he was a second rounder? I'd have let him play out his year. Backup quarterback was able to get $50 million contract. So was Kirk Cousins. That's my point, dude. Kirk Cousins just signed a $50 million deal with the Atlanta Falcons. He was a backup quarterback too. And to go along with it, he made the most money of any quarterback that's ever played the game. He's made more money than Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. He's made $450 million, and he was drafted as a backup. What's your point? Great. He and Cousins have something in common. They were backups who got paid. Sure. Okay, look at this. Here, let me show you something here. This guy is a fucking moron. Did you see the roster Montana and Aikman had? Montana and Aikman, are you trying to compare? I must have missed that roster when he won his Super Bowl, the first one in Detroit. Can you name me a wide receiver on that team? I must have missed it. Who was the wide receiver on the team when he won the Super Bowl in 81 or 82 up in Detroit? Tell me who that was, because it wasn't Jerry Rice. It wasn't John Taylor. It was a guy by the name of Freddie Solomon, Bert Cooper, Wendell Davis, Wendell Tyler. Okay, Dwight Clark, not a Hall of Famer. Dwight Clark was a good player, wasn't a Hall of Fame guy. You're making it sound like Montana and Hurts? Montana's 4-0 in Super Bowls. Didn't throw a pick. 138 quarterback rating. Are you crazy? And beat Elway in Montana, or beat Elway and Marino in Super Bowls. Detroit never won a Super Bowl. Dickhead, the game was in Detroit against the Bengals. Highest rated Super Bowl to this day. To this day. Hurts and Montana. That's a new one. That's a new one. Sill's honest question, is Hurts really a bust? Or is this the organization forcing a square peg into a round hole? It's more that. Jalen Hurts can be an A-plus quarterback if we use him correctly. He won't be an elite quarterback. And he won't last long. But yes, he can be an A quarterback if you fundamentally play him to his skill set, not out of his skill set. They're coaching the greatness out of Hurts. And you know this. You know this. If the quarterback and the coach was more consistent, we could have the greatest show on turf. Dude, that's a great take, Lord's Grace. What would a guy like Kurt Warner do with that offense? You'd probably score 700 points. Could you imagine Kurt Warner, the quarterback of that team, as accurate as that guy is, and the way he gets the football out and knows where to go with the ball? Kurt Warner would go 30 for 35 for 505 yards and 5 touchdowns every week. And there's no way you could stop it. Do you know why A.J. Brown laughed when they were brought up the 15 attempts or the 14 attempts? Because he knows it can't be sustainable, and you're nowhere near a championship team. Because the quarterback the last 2 weeks, dude, Saquon Barkley's covered the guy's ass. I'll take that back. I didn't think Jaylen played poorly in the Cleveland game against a good defense. I said it earlier. Okay? Like falling in love with that fun chick, then be mad after you marry her, still wants to party. I mean, he won't last the season if they start running him 10 times a game. No one said he had a high ceiling. the only way he has a high ceiling is by dropping him back in play. But, dude, that has to be one of the biggest indictments I've heard from a guy that is a really credible and respected guy in the league. It's insane that he would be saying that. By the way, wouldn't you not agree that that is an even more of an indictment on how Greg Cosell, Xander, get ready for that. I want you to hear it one last time here. Greg Cosell on the Ross Tucker podcast.
Giants and the Browns, and they're a difficult offense to watch right now. Jalen Hurts is not playing very good football. They're a running football team. Their defense has played a lot better the last couple of weeks. Now, people can say they beat the Giants and the Browns, and that's fair because those are two of the lesser offenses in the league. But if you just look at what they're doing and how individuals are playing, they're playing better on defense. But the Eagles can't sustain, if they want to be a true playoff team, they can't sustain the way they played last week. Your quarterback has to be a bigger factor. Jalen Hurts, for whatever reason, Ross, and he's played a lot of football games, and you do them in the preseason, so you're familiar with him. For whatever reason, he's just not seeing things clearly right now. Basic concepts he's not seeing, and that really handicaps and hamstrings your offense when your quarterback just can't execute basic concepts, and that's what he's struggling with right now. They're
struggling with basic concepts. You don't talk about elite quarterbacks like that. Elite quarterbacks don't struggle with basic concepts. They struggle with complex concepts like you have with Brian Flores in Minnesota. If you can't dissect, you know why he can't read a defense? Is because he can't make the basic concept throws. That's why he holds the ball too long. This is all making sense now. This is all making sense. You know why he holds the ball? Because he can't make the simple read, and he can't make the simple throw, and he can't dissect the simple defense. A screen pass to Barkley, Smith over the middle, waving his hands like he's on a cruise ship. Save me. It's ironic the only quarterback with long-term success we've had recently has been McNabb, and he didn't let the organization get to his head. The FO sabotaged the quarterback, front office. It happens before Jaylen, and it will happen after. Anthony, correct. The one thing that sabotaged McNabb sabotaged himself by stopping running the ball and stopping being a guy who got out in the perimeter and made plays. I don't understand why the Eagle fans were hyped about the Giants win. 14 effing attempts is embarrassing. It's just, but get this. If you know you're going to throw the ball 14 times, I don't have a problem with that. Because I told Xander the other day and even on the postgame show, I didn't have a problem that you threw the ball 14, 15 times in a 25-point blowout. My problem is inside those 15 plays, there's two concept plays that Greg's talking about that he couldn't fundamentally make, that players were wide open and he couldn't see, and he couldn't execute the simplest of plays. That's going to translate into a game where you're going to need those plays to be made. Not against the Giants. Brady has a C-plus quarterback set, but an A-plus quarterback mind. Correct. And watch this. Brady's athleticism, C-plus. Brady's arm, C-plus. Brady's mobility, C+. Pre-snap reads, A+. Reading defenses, A+. Making tough throws and accurate, A+. Brady wasn't a deep pass. Hey, wait a minute. Here's something else to think about what Lucius is saying here. Why is it so important for the Eagles to have Jalen Hurts as a deep passer when Brady was never? And Brady's the all-time leading passer in yards and in touchdowns, also in wins. Never throwing the ball deep. Do you not see that? It's an indictment on the mentality of the Eagle thinking that they, get this, the Eagles lead the NFL in plus 40 plays, I heard. The Patriots never did that. Kansas City never does that. It's a bullshit stat. Explosion plays don't win Super Bowls. Continuity, precision, accuracy, and consistency win Super Bowls. Not 40-plus explosion plays. How many times did you watch Montana, if you're older as I am, Jerry Rice on a hitch pass, on a 10-yard hitch, take to the house? That guy was sensational. He invented, do you know who invented yards after the catch? It was Jerry Rice. Why? Because Montana made the simple throw. It wasn't Joe making a 70 or 60-yard pass. It was Rice taking it to the house. Get this. This is the problem you have. People will look at this and go, he didn't struggle. He can't make basic throws. That guy will never see it. He'll never see it. Jalen Hurts won't sniff a quarter. He will not sniff a Super Bowl again. I'm even more convinced of that now. In fairness to Jaylen, he didn't have to beat them with his arm. What's so wrong with that? It's not. You obviously didn't hear what I just said. I didn't have a problem with the 14 passes. I had a problem with him missing basic passes and concepts in those 14 passes when he had two guys wide open for touchdowns and he couldn't process it quick enough. Dude, this is more than just a Giant game. It's easy to move on or move off and ruin these drafted and groomed quarterbacks in Philly. Yvette will speak up and talk shit when needed. Oh, okay, yeah, right. Like they did last year. Hey, I missed Anthony's super chat. Please put it up, Xander, if you can for me. All super chats go to the top. What do we notice about our O? The opposing D doesn't move. They don't hide coverages until the last minute, like they did with Manning versus Brady. That's exactly, or Brady. Those defenses had to move to confuse them. Jaylen can't spot schemes. Amen. This might be a bad take, but do you think they could prep Kenny Pickett for next quarterback? No. Kenny Pickett is not the next quarterback in Philadelphia. You don't have the next quarterback in Philly. Tanner McKee and that guy are not good enough for the talent you have in your huddle. I'm not going from a guy that I have spent the last 3 years and $50 million a year on to go to a guy and think that Tyler McKee or Tanner McKee is the next Tom Brady. I don't believe that. But then again, wait a minute. Here's a point. Let me ask you something here. Do you think Howie Roseman would have ever drafted Tom Brady in the 6th round, having looked at his body and he ran a 5.7 40? He didn't have a very strong arm, and he was looked on as just like not very good, even though he had a pretty decent senior season at Michigan. Do you think they would have drafted him? Tanner McKee, by the way, has a better arm than Brady ever did coming out of college. At Stanford, he had a big arm. There's not a chance in hell Howie Roseman would have drafted Tom Brady. He would have Then again, you know how many people missed on Tom Brady, including the Patriots. They missed on him 5 times before they took him in the 6th. What an indictment by a guy who's highly respected on your quarterback in Philly. He doesn't believe that guy's very good. And when Greg Cosell says that, that's going to start trickling down to the rest of the national media guys. Sills, Laurie should promote Howie and remove player personnel, and then hire Mike Borgonzi in Kansas City as GM so he can handle the draft, build the staff, and build defense. When Hurts' contract expires, we'll be ready for a quarterback. Okay? Xander, I think I just missed a super chat, a blue one. Please, guys, your super chats all go to the top. Andy Reid and Doug Peterson could win with McKee. I can't dispute that. He won with Alex Smith. And he won with, again, Nick Foles is a different animal. That's not a normal backup guy. Okay? He's not a normal backup dude. That guy's weird. Hurts' contract won't expire, though. He'll get extended for sure. Good luck. Who in their right mind would extend that guy? For what? What's he accomplished? That shit's in the rearview mirror, Reyes, his best ball. Where in the world over the last year and a half would you extend a guy? That's a great comment. Let's ask M. Reyes here. Let's take it. How many people over the last year and a half would extend Jalen Hurts? Not me. 2025 draft. Do the Eagles get a quarterback in the first round? I don't believe so. I wouldn't put out of the realm of possibility a third or a fourth. You know what, Sills? You helped me solve this. Hurts would be an elite quarterback in a West Coast offense where they don't prioritize downfield throws. It's a good take. But he can't develop an intermediate passing game. That's why he doesn't. Get this. So tell me this. You're not going to extend a guy who can't throw across the middle of the field. And for the head coach and the coordinator to say, well, it just played out that way. We don't make throws across the middle of the field. Wow. For a reporter not to follow up and say, so you're blaming Kellen Moore for not calling more plays across the middle of the field? That's where Devontae was wide open. He can't see the middle of the field. He is so far from elite. And when Greg points it all out, it doesn't matter if Hurts throws the ball 37 times in a game or 3. He struggles with the simplest concepts. They know this. Get this. I'll show you something on how people turn something that has nothing to do with. I don't know what this take means. This has nothing to do with me. I don't know what you're talking about, really. So I can't get mad at that, Reyes. I have no idea what you're freaking talking about. Jalen Hurts hit a few crosses to Devontae like 2-3 times against the Browns. Great. Wonderful. I think he could throw in the middle of the field. His problem is his height. They need to change his throwing angle. Hey, Lucius, drop him back further like they did with Breeze and with Russell Wilson. They go back 9 steps instead of 7. On your note of Howie drafting Brady, would he play Purdy if he had taken him in 2000? No, not a chance. Can't afford to look wrong. Purdy would thrive here. Dude, he wouldn't thrive here. because they don't have the coaching to thrive here. You haven't had a good offensive coordinator in Philadelphia since Frank Reich. And you've had a gimmick coordinator in Shane Steichen. By the way, look what Shane's doing. Shane is an RPO quarterback. But how's he winning now? He's winning with a quarterback in Indianapolis that was like Phillip Rivers. The owner wanted Anthony Richardson. That's how he got the job, because of Jalen Hurts. Anthony Richardson looks like Florida Anthony Richardson now. 51% completion percentage, reckless, can't stay healthy. Xander, isn't that Anthony Richardson Gators? That's who that guy was in Florida. You got an old man Joe Flacco now throwing the ball, and they're 4-3. They're in the play. Right now, if the playoffs were to start this weekend, the Colts qualify because of Joe Flacco, not Anthony Richardson. Get this, what here? Here's another MRS. I'm wrong on predictions, but right on results. Team sucked last year. I said it from day one. Quarterback's not good enough. You're right, MRS. I may not get a Sunday game right, but I got your quarterback pegged, and I got your football team pegged. I picked you to go to the Super Bowl in 22, and I picked you to fall apart in 23, and your quarterback, and I've been dead on. So if I don't get a Sunday game wrong or right, you're right. But at the end of the day, great Cosell's with big sells. 14-3. How you doing? But I'm right about your guy, and you know it now. And I'm right about your team, and you know it. You're right. I'll tell you what, if I could pick a game on Sundays every single week, I wouldn't be talking to you guys. I'd be on a beach with all the boats burned, a moat. I'd have facial hair everywhere. No one would know where I am. You'd never be able to talk to Big Sills ever again. I'd be on an island by myself, like old man in the sea. Huh. That's my dream. Okay? Hurts' career will end up just like in Bama. A thrower of the football and a quarterback that can't read defenses, and he'll be replaced. Yes. 2 years tops, he's gone. Big Sills, what does Philly need to do to get him up to speed? If he struggles reading defenses, get him a tutor. McCown, Chase Daniels, Mike. Yes. Do you really think the organization is going to turn over authority of coaching their $50 million toy to someone outside the organization not having philosophical beliefs like John McMullen says on Birds 365 every day? It's a fundamental decision that the organization makes. Do you actually think that Jeffrey Lurie is going to turn over credit to someone else when they couldn't give credit to Jim Schwartz, Frank Reich, or Doug Peterson, and they believe they won the Super Bowl? Do you really believe that? This has been a polarizing topic today. Because today, on October 24th, it's time to start having these conversations. He's not the future. Sills, comment, Alexa, thank you very much. By the way, all super chats go to the top. Please hit the like button. Hey, some of you guys, give me an update where we are in the likes. I'd like to know. Starting the second hour here. Sills, I feel like 22 was a blip on the radar for Hurts. The league has seen enough tape now, and they know his weaknesses, and he can't elevate his. That's exactly correct. He doesn't have the skill set to elevate his game. Happens with a lot of people. The only way is to run first. 186. Thank you, guys. See if we can get to 200 here by the bottom of the hour here, and then hopefully we can try to get to 400 by the end of the program here. Please hit the like button. Super chats And Common Electra, that's great. By the way, Common Electra, figure this out here. Wouldn't the mentality be to hire a passing coordinator in Baltimore for Lamar Jackson? Instead, do you know what they hired? They hired an RPO guy in Baltimore. Can I tell you something that they do? This is another great Cosell. Xander, this is another great Cosell beauty. Do you know that Baltimore is the number one team in the NFL that doesn't run 3 wideout sets? They have a fullback most of the time in the game. They have called common personnel, 2 wideouts, tight end, and a fullback. They are the number one team and not having a 3 wideout set. Why? Because that's not who they are. They're not looking to chuck the ball down the field. And it's made Lamar a better passer. Lamar may throw for $4,000 for the first time in his career this year. He's playing electric. And you know what he does? Can I tell you why Derrick Henry is having such an insane year? Why do you guys think Lamar and Henry look and are the best team in the league right now? Why do you think Derrick Henry is having a great year right now? Can you tell me why? I'm probably going to have to draw this out here. Why do you think Derrick Henry's having a spectacular season? Lamar Jackson, okay. Okay. I'm going to show you something here. Here's why Derrick Henry may break Eric Dickerson's 2105 this year for most yards in a single season. Slacker goes extra blocker. No. You see this right here? Okay. There's the quarterback, fullback, Henry. They run that play front side here. See this defensive tackle? He cannot pursue down the line of scrimmage. Why? Because Lamar will keep that and go backside and streak up the field having broken contain and not setting the edge. And the quarterback, instead of handing it to him, if that guy doesn't stay flat and he doesn't protect and get as deep as the ball, then guess what? He's going to keep it and go right up the field here. So what you do is you slow down pursuit on the back angle. You have to slow play it. They should be running that play in Philly. They should be running that play with Barkley the way he's playing like that, and with a right tackle like Lane. How are you not running that play? Run that play front side, because when that end doesn't get as deep as the ball, Barkley's going to have even more space. Or Hurts keeps it and goes. They don't want to do that. They want to throw the ball. No shit. They play with a, get this, Senor, once again, how much production does Philly get out of the third wide receiver since Jalen Hurts has been? Hey, somebody do me a favor. How many total catches has the third wide receiver gotten since Hurts has been the quarterback in 21? 30, about 120 catches in 4 years. You get nothing out of that anyway. Why not go to a fullback set and 2 wide receivers? You only throw to 2 anyway. Why this so complex offense for a guy who can't read and fundamentally execute the basic concepts? You know why? Because you don't have a quarterback and you don't have a right coordinator that fit one another. And this is a front office deal. Dude, everything I'm telling you is happening in front of you. You don't use a third wideout. Baltimore doesn't even have a third wideout. They go 12 personnel all the time. They lead the league in that. And get this, he's throwing for 350 yards because they fear Lamar running in the RPO and they fear Henry. Hey, get this. Baltimore has more plus 20 runs than anybody in the league. You have more plus 40. Who's going to win a Super Bowl? Baltimore or you? I'll take the plus 40. I'll take the plus 20 rushes from Derrick Henry. Why are you even playing with 3 wideouts? You get nothing out of them. Baltimore knows Lamar Jackson can't read and find a third wide receiver. So they don't fool themselves. There's so much better coaching going on in Baltimore. You should emulate everything they do in Baltimore right now. But you don't. You think you have this pocket presence, and he's fundamentally struggling at making the simplest plays. I mean, the things you're saying about the Eagles, only if you knew there's worse things on other teams. I'm not concerned about other teams' weaknesses. I'm concerned about your own weaknesses. First, you have to take care of yourself before you worry about others' weaknesses. And especially at the quarterback position. Worrying about San Francisco or Detroit or anyone else like Minnesota, you need to concern yourself about winning your division and yourself first. Then you worry about the guy you got coming up on Sunday. If you're playing the NFL, you're not concerned with Detroit. You have no issues and you don't care about Detroit right now. Why should the Eagles care about Detroit on October 24th? I could care less. Look at this guy. Obviously, we're in a good spot as an organization, but it's important to call out the shortcomings. Where are you in a good place? When you don't have the number one position settled on. You think you're in a good place defensively? I don't. They're playing better defensively. And that's Greg's comment. You played the Browns and you've played the Giants. He's not sold either. It's great to hear Greg Cosell go, don't get crazy. You played the Giants and the Browns, and your quarterback is not playing good football. I mean, these aren't my words. These have been my sentiments. John Harbaugh is from Andy Reid's coaching tree and is a special teams coordinator. Those coaches learn to get the best out of players they have. Isn't it funny, Lucius? A guy who worked in the special teams coordinating coaching staff and then eventually became a position coach in Philadelphia. Do you know who that was? Common Electra, thank you for becoming a new member. Thank you. Lucius, do you know who that was? He started out on special teams. Then he got a position coach with Andy Reid. And then do you know what he became? or Andy Reid? And do you know who that guy is? Brett Veach, the current general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs. So John Harbaugh has the best team in the NFL. Was a special teams guy for Andy Reid in Philly. The best general manager in football right now is in Kansas City. And he was a special teams guy also with Andy Reid. By the way, just to was Sean McDermott on Andy Reid's coaching staff? Was McDermott on Andy Reid's coaching staff in Philly? Yeah? Interesting. So Andy Reid, with his coaching staff, has the best GM that was a position coach for you in Kansas City, correct? The head football coach has arguably the second or third best quarterback in the league in Sean McDermott. And he was in Kansas City, your defensive guy. John Harbaugh was a special teams guy in Kansas City, in Philly. And he was the head coach with a Super Bowl win and on his way to Canton. And he was on that staff too. You might want to think about hiring people off that coaching staff that were in Philly. You might want to think, and that's why. Was John Gruden on that coaching staff, by the way? Was John Gruden on that staff? So wait a minute here. Gruden won a Super Bowl with the Bucs and was on the Reid coaching staff. Okay. The best GM in the sport, Brett Veach, was on that coaching staff in Philly. John Harbaugh was on that coaching staff in Philly. He has a Super Bowl ring. Huh. And McDermott is the head coach in Buffalo. Shit. That sounds like a hell of a coaching tree, all based in Philly. Oh, wait a minute. Did Doug Peterson coach with Andy Reid in Kansas City? Was Doug Peterson a quarterback in Philly too with Andy? Okay. By the way, I think John was the OC for Ray. I don't think he was on that Reid coaching staff. I think he was on Ray Rhodes' staff. If I remember right, because I was in the room when Al hired him. I think it was Ray. So Gruden, I don't think Gruden was on that staff. I think he was on Ray Rhodes' staff. But I'll tell you what, pretty impressive that you had all them coaches. And like David just said, and then you top it off, the defensive coordinator was Jim Johnson. Jesus. That coaching staff. Who put that staff together? Let me guess. Andy Reid. And he brings Brett Veach with him to KC. And your front office doesn't even hire within. You don't believe in Denard Wilson. Andy's tree gave us our only championship, Doug. And the front office ego drove him out of the building. We had them all gone, thanks to Lori and Howie. Hey, it's one thing to sit here and have a conversation on whether or not Andy Reid should have packed it up or the Eagles should have went on after 14 years. Well, what about those guys that were in the building that you had? You couldn't have hired anybody off that coaching staff to be your head coach? Why was that? Why didn't you hire any one of those guys off that coaching staff that Andy built? And now you look at Andy's coach. Look what Andy did just now, too. Matt Nagy, he ends up getting fired in Chicago, right? Do you know he's recharged his coaching career again? He's clearly recharged Steve Spagnuolo's. Oh, I know why. Control and contain. Dude. And again, this comes back to why Hurts is in the position he's in. You got a guy. I'm going to bring Xander on here in a second here. Hey, by the way, we're still going to effort Michael Irvin today. He's in transit, and we talked to him. I'm hoping he gets in touch with us when he lands. Okay? So we'll keep trying to effort him. I left the show open for him because he came in last time like that, parachuted in, and he did his show from a limousine. You got a guy like Greg Cosell saying he can't make the simple plays. Hit the like button. Guys, where are we on that like button list? I think I'm saying it right. By the way, your super chats have been sensational today. What happened to all the Purdy glaze that you and Xander were doing a couple weeks ago, calling him a top 5? Now you all moved to Hurts slander. I still think Brock Purdy's a hell of a player. He's 10 times the quarterback that guy is. He's going through injuries right now with his team. He's got to right the ship. Hey, he's got a lot of pressure on him. He's got a $60 million football season ahead of him. If he doesn't settle the ship, they're going to have conversations. But to sit here and say that Jalen Hurts is in Brock Purdy's league is freaking amazing that you would even think that. Hurts can't make simple plays. And you can't take that. He can't make simple plays. He's not your future. Ooh. Woo! All right. All that being said, damn. What an absolute polarizing hour and a half that's been. Hit the like button here. And boy, I'll tell you what. I heard this morning, man, people getting a little upset here with the afternoon show here. And then somebody gave me a heads up and went, hey, John got pissed because we're getting more likes. Stick it to John McMullen. Hit that like button, man. With that being said, the co-host of Birds 365, we love John. Big Z, Xander Kraus.
What's up, Big Sills? Boy, I've been glued to my seat for an hour and a half, Big Sills. You're on fire today, my guy.
Hey, man, I can't believe. So I'm sitting here preparing my show, and I can't believe how many people watch your show in the morning. So a guy goes, John McMullen just got pissed because Xander said that the afternoon show is killing it in likes, and John got pissed off. And I'm like, really?
I wouldn't say pissed off. He said, we don't like that. We got to change that, which is good. A little competitive environment here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, you got 4 hours. We got 2. All right. It's not a one-to-one comp, but I will say there's nobody like Big Sill. So I understand why those likes run up like crazy during the Big Sill show.
Please hit the like button, all super chats. Sydney, we'll get to you at the back end of the conversation here. So we promise to read all of them as always. What about that? And by the way, can I tell you who gave me the heads up on this without even telling me? Because he knew that. You see, Big Sills is kind of like, I'm like a wild dog in the wild. I sniff out things. A good topic. A good take. All of a sudden, Xander posts something. This is not a comforting take. And I said, well, hence, let me read this. Sure enough, I listened to the Ross Tucker podcast, and I don't think in my 3.5 years I have ever been as harsh on Jalen Hurts as Greg Cosell was today.
Yeah, he was harsh.
He said he can't make the simple plays.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, he can't right now. He's obviously in a bit of a funk.
Now.
Look, I mean, I did. Here's my one problem with it, because I respect Greg a lot, and I think it's pretty clownish for any Eagle fan to sit here and try and say what he's saying isn't worth a thought or a conversation because Greg Cosell has some sort of agenda. Greg Cosell has no agenda. Greg Cosell could care less. He's been breaking down film in the NFL for 40 years. So obviously he's not seeing good things on film. What I will say is I don't think you can make the blanket analysis that Jalen can't do any simple reads. I mean, we did see it, right, in 22 and 23 a little bit. I mean, is he struggling right now? Yes, but there's more there. He's in a big funk right now. I think he's in his head a little bit, and he's got to get better. There's no doubt about it. But, boy, Big Sills, this has been a tough show to stomach for the first hour and a half. I'll say that. Oh, my Lord.
I'll ask you the question then. You think he's your future?
I think it's a.
Or do you think he's your forced future?
I think he's your forced future for right now, at least for the foreseeable future. Now, I'm not as low on the player, honestly. I mean, I feel better about the player than that. I mean, I don't think he's brutal. I think he's middle of the pack. I think he's middle of the pack guy.
I think he's Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith.
Yeah, I'd say more Geno than Baker, right? I mean, Baker, okay. I think does I think Baker does a lot of things well that a lot of quarterbacks struggle with, getting through progressions and stuff. I think Baker's pretty good at that, but I don't know, man. It's tough to listen to this shit. I'll tell you that. I mean, what are we supposed to do? If you're an Eagle fan with me, what the hell are we supposed to do? Just admit we're effing toast?
No, but wait a minute. This goes back to the one guy who's making this whole thing even more apparent and making it harder for them. Dude, Saquon Barkley's forcing their hand into taking the ball out of the hand of the guy that they want to win games. You're 4-2 not because of Jalen Hurts. You're 4-2 because of Saquon Barkley. There's no getting around it. He's your MVP on that team.
Jalen is not winning football games for us right now. I think everybody can agree with that. He's not winning games for us. Is he making good plays here and there? Yes, but there's also the other problem with the Super Bowl conversation, right? Where everybody's like, oh, he outplayed Mahomes, which one he didn't. He fumbled and it was a 10-point swing and he lost to Mahomes. Let's be real, everybody. He had a great game. He didn't outplay Mahomes in the Super Bowl. You lost the game. Last I checked, when you outplayed someone, you're supposed to beat them. You didn't outplay them. But the problem with that is like the Nick Foles conversation. Nick Foles was elite for 2 games too. Was I supposed to give him a $100 million bag of money and make him your franchise quarterback? No. So Jalen was great. We've seen him be great. But if you can't be in any way consistent, I mean, it's not a team. It's not a guy you can build your team around. I think that's what separates the most elite quarterbacks from where Jalen is Jalen has a great upside. What does it take for him to live up to that upside on a consistent basis? At this point, we haven't seen it in a year and a half. It's a problem. It's a big problem.
How about this? Would you say this by the end of the year will completely define how you look at him moving forward over these next 2 years? I'm not saying you have a Deshaun Watson problem, but I'm saying that you have an issue when it comes to winning that game. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with Geno Smith, dude. And if we're comparing him to Geno Smith, he ain't winning a Super Bowl.
Sileo's got me on the ground right now. It's just like it's just eating my face. I'm laying, I'm wheezing for air on the ground, and just waiting for the ref to tap me out, man. I mean, look, you're going to make me face the tough realities of this right now. It's tough to even think about.
Why can't they coach him like Lamar, though?
I don't know. I think that's an organizational problem. I really do. I don't think it's a Nick Sirianni problem. I don't. I'm sorry. I think it's an organizational problem. Well, by the way, I mean, for the people who say deja vu on Wentz, me too. But shouldn't we then be pointing at the organization? Like, how did you take 2 quarterbacks and completely F them up?
And turn them into shooting stars?
Now, I don't think Jalen's that severe of a case yet.
No.
I don't think Jalen's middle of the pack, and they're not coaching him to get the most out of him. That's
But
true.
Wentz was more talented.
Yeah, that's true. Wentz was maybe like Josh Allen level of talent if he was coached right his whole career.
Yeah.
That's how good Wentz was. But I don't know, man. I'm not as out on Hurts, but maybe that's just because I'm not allowed to be. I mean, what do you want me to do? Sit here and fucking suck my thumb for 2 years as I watch this team with Jaylen?
No, what I was expecting to see is a Philadelphia sports market with all of their personalities start to question the front office and sit back and listen to these guys and hear people say that, like Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni, and talk about the leadership bullshit of Hurts and how Hurts is really playing well. And then you listen to Greg Cosell go, he can't make simple plays. He's not playing well. And you hear people that have no agenda in it, and you're going like, I know. This is why I've been asking that like question. And I'm going to hammer the question because yesterday I should have been more emphatic with Marcus Hayes about it. Marcus, do you think this guy's played good football in a year and a half? And he says, as of late. And I'm like, so you took the Giants game and the Browns game and thought that was going to be a sample size to make it turn around because he protected the football against those two shitty teams? Now, I'll give you this, and I'll bend on this. The Browns have a good D. That was a solid game. Solid's not going to win, though, bro.
I know.
That guy's got to be exceptional. Hey, and get this. Jalen Hurts can't be your fourth best player on the team. He can't be your fourth best offensive player.
Wait, you want to do it? You want to rank them? Let's rank the offensive guys. Where's Jalen? All right. One's AJ, in my opinion.
Mine's going to be this year in 24.
Saquon?
Barkley.
Okay.
Mine's AJ second. My third is Lane. You see Lane's grade? Lane's the highest graded offensive tackle
Lane's
according to PFF. Okay. 4.
Holy shit, man. There's 11 starters on offense. Where's Hurts going to be? Is he going to be 8, 9, 10? My Lord.
I'm going to put Devontae there.
Yeah, I got that too. Devontae at 4.
5, I'm going to put Mulata.
Okay, I was going to go either Mulata or Goddard, but I'll put Mulata. That's fine.
6, I got Dickerson.
Okay.
7, fine. I got Mulata. I got Goddard. 8, I've got I got Hurts here at 8.
Don't give me that shit. Dave, no, are you kidding me?
Hey, no, I'll put Hurts at 8. I got Kenny Gainwell at 8. No.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Hey,
he's bottom half of the offense.
Let me show you something else, too. You know why Henry is – Greg Cosell pointed this out on why Derrick Henry's killing it. It's because when they run that play front side and they hand the ball off to him, the defensive end has to slow play that backside play because you know why? If he goes down the line and tries to pursue it and get him from the backside, Lamar takes the ball and goes up the field and takes it to the house and hits his head on the goalpost. Why aren't the Eagles running that play? They used to run it in 22.
I don't know. I don't know if Jalen's that explosive anymore. Dude, you can't compare. It's like the Mahomes conversation. You going to compare Jalen Hurts to Lamar Jackson?
Wait a minute. So wait. Derrick Henry looks like he did 5 years ago right now in that offense. And he's at 340 carries a year. And you're telling me that guy is already gassed? I mean,
I'm not saying he's gassed, but
how come Henry looks like he's 25?
So is Saquon. Saquon's not running like a guy with that much tread on his tires either, right? I mean, I thought he was
right there with him. He's right there.
Well, I still think Derrick Henry's the best back.
Oh, absolutely. He
come
is.
on. Now, maybe I got some Bama bias, but that dude's an absolute monster. So, wait, a couple people, what do you think of this?
Jerkins at 8. No, I'm going to put Hurts there at 8. Hey, if you would have put Tyler Steen there, I made a shit on you, but I'll take.
Look at my boy DRC. DRC, are you crazy? He says Saquon over Derrick Henry. Come on, DRC.
That's okay. That's Philly love. That's all right.
Nah, Saquon's
not so Jalen's 8th in an 11-team offense. That's your $50 million guy. Dude, great Cosell. Oh, he's not the future of your team. He's the forced future of your team. That's what it is. He's not quite Deshaun Watson, but he's in that conversation where you can't do shit the next 2 years, and you got to keep. No wonder the Cooper Kupp conversation's real. They got to keep adding components to the offense because the guy's inabilities to make the simplest throws. Hey, dude, how many?
Dude, what read's Cooper Kupp going to be? We can't even get to the second read right now.
How many guys have you ever seen going, Jaylen, over here, Jaylen, on an NFL football field? Dude, I think they run too complex of a system. Here's another great Cosell beauty. Do you know the team that leads the NFL in 12 personnel is the Ravens? They don't have a third wideout. They have a fullback.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the guy's throwing for
300.
He's throwing for 330 yards a game, and he doesn't go, and they don't run a 3 wideout personnel. He goes like this. The Ravens, it's incredible, man. They don't believe in 3 wideouts. You know why? The quarterback is an RPO quarterback. He can't find it. Why have 3? Get this, Sander. Here's a sign of the front office's ego. You have, I figured it out listening to Greg. You have a third wide receiver on the field that in the last 4 years, they probably have what? 120 catches in 4 years? Why even have it?
I don't even know if they have that. How many did Watkins have last year? By the way,
I'm assuming they have 30
catches. For all the hate he gets in Philly, he was a superior number 3 compared to Jahan Dotson.
I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe 30 passes a year, your third wideout position ends up getting complete. Okay. So I'm just going 120 catches.
Yeah. So what do you want Cooper Kupp for? Look at Mark. Mark must be new here. Mark, Xander has no backbone, just agrees with everything Sil says. Mark, we disagree and debate more than we do anything on this show.
Yeah, but
maybe I just am having a hard time disagreeing with Sills on this because
how about this? Because he's not debating me on this. Yeah, this was a guy, Great Cosell's. This was Great Cosell's comment, not mine.
Well, and I think you guys are probably right. I mean, look, I watched the tape breakdown from Cosell. It's not pretty. Let me just tell you that. I mean, when he says basic concepts, there's a reason he says basic concepts. There's a mesh route that's easy reading for quarterbacks, and he doesn't get through it at all. I mean, we're in a little bit of trouble here. If Jaylen can't get out of this, man, we're not going anywhere with this team.
Hey, dude, all I'm telling, I've been saying it for 3.5 years to you freakazoids, and you guys have been fighting me on this whole thing. I go, this guy can't read defenses. And here, this is Great Cosell on Ross Tucker's podcast. And this is his ass talking.
Their defenses, they're a difficult offense to watch right now. Jalen Hurts is not playing very good football. They're a running football team. Their defense has played a lot better the last couple of weeks. Now, people can say they beat the Giants and the Browns, and that's fair because those are 2 of the lesser offenses in the league. But if you just look at what they're doing and how individuals are playing,
that's John.
They're playing better on defense. But the Eagles can't sustain. If they want to be a true playoff team, they can't sustain the way they played last week. Your quarterback has to be a bigger factor. Jalen Hurts, for whatever reason, Ross, and he's played a lot of football games, and you do them in the preseason, so you're familiar with him. For whatever reason, he's just not seeing things clearly right now. Basic concepts he's not seeing, and that really handicaps and hamstrings your offense when your quarterback just can't execute basic concepts, and that's what he's struggling with right now.
Very difficult offense to watch right now. Struggling on basic concepts. The offense either is too difficult for him to understand, or he is got the wrong coordinator again. Pick one. Or there's one last one. He just ain't good enough.
Oh, fuck. How many coordinators are we going to go through? I think they made Brian Johnson look like a Dumbo. He's fine. Brian Johnson's probably a great coach in this league.
He was 8th in the NFL last year in total offense.
James A. I agree with James A. This is discouraging. Sills has me down and out, everybody.
This is not Great Cosell with Ross Tucker said this. Get this. Ross Tucker didn't want to follow up because you know why?
Yeah, I know. Because
Homeboy
Ross
works
is
for
paid by the Eagles. Yeah,
He
Ross
works
is
for the
paid by the
Eagles,
Eagles. I
and
love
he-
Ross, actually. But yeah, I get it. He's
And
respected.
Ross has been on our program, but can you imagine? Ross, yeah, this is Bob Lang. How you doing?
Dude, I would bet you Ross got that call anyway, even without responding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because guess what? He didn't. Hey, I have had this happen. I've had a guy come on the program before, and I've had a guy, when I was hosting a show in San Diego, I had the former general manager of the Marlins on with us, and he lit in to AJ Preller and said, that guy is the worst general manager. He's one of the worst people, and we're the flagship of the Padres. Man, I was in the principal's office right after the program.
I believe it.
Hey, the Padres called Ron Fowler, the owner. It's like, what? Why would you put a guy? I had no idea he was going to say that. And I heard Ross going like, I thought he was having a communications issue with his mic. Yeah, dude. Great Cosell lit into your boy today, man. I mean,
I know he did. He really did. And by the way, there's so many Eagle fans on Twitter. Greg Cosell's this. I'm like, no, he's not. Okay, you might not. You might disagree with him, but don't start slandering Greg Cosell because you don't like what he had to say about the quarterback. Look, I do not think that we're perpetually in this state. That's where I differ from you. I think Jaylen can get closer back to 22 form. Maybe not there, but close enough to where he's not slowing down the offense with all these weapons around him. And that's what you got to hope for. I mean, shit, I got to remain at least some hope. I'm 7 weeks into this thing, Big Sills. I mean, we're not eliminated. I'm not in the summer conversation yet. Oh, I can't wait for those.
Do you know who Jim Jones is?
Who?
Jim Jones. You know who he is?
Jim Jones?
Jim Jones.
James Jones on the.
No,
no,
Jim, you know who Jim Jones is?
I don't think so. No.
He ran a cult in Guyana called Jamestown, and it was called the Jamestown Massacre. It was this cult that believed in one thing.
Jonestown, is that what it was?
Yeah, Jonestown. And this guy killed everyone with Kool-Aid. And unfortunately, Xander, you haven't been given enough to kill that take yet on Hurts. And you're still wandering and wobbling around alive. One day you're going to take and put the Kool-Aid down and realize this guy is not the future and he's just not good enough.
Stills, I don't have Kool-Aid. People, wait. Now I got Kool-Aid. I got more comments on a daily basis right now on JAKIB that I'm the worst Eagle fan. I'm a Jaylen hater. I'm this. I'm that. I mean, which one is it? Now I'm a fucking Kool-Aid drinker. How about I'm just right in the middle? How about I'm hoping that this team can stack each week, put a building block in place, and get closer to being able to get back to the Super Bowl. The NFC sucks.
Hey, this is a good take, believe it or not, from Dickhead Reyes. How much of Kelsey's factor do you think him not being out there hurts the quarterback having to deal with the new setting of the line protections because your quarterback is incompetent not being able to set protections, and that someone's got to help him out, and they got to force feed him, and they got to help him. You know, they got to have a bunch of the guys help. How much do you think that plays into it? And Reyes, believe me, what are we going to do? Spoon feed this kid? Sit down and take the night off and put a hat with that aluminum foil around it. Go sit in the corner, kid.
I think he got his JAKIB shirt. Maybe he'll wear his JAKIB shirt tonight to bed and think about Big Cells telling him how much his quarterback sucks.
That's LJ. LJ's got a cutout picture up there in Canada, thinking of Big Sills. Dude.
All right, wait, look. All right. Give me a second here. Give me a second. Aren't there some positive things going on right now in Eagle Land?
Yeah, the defense looks like it could be showing signs.
Defense showing some signs. You got your two rookies.
Barkley's been better than I thought.
Yeah, so how much can we take the load off Jalen Hurts if he stinks so
They have.
Oh my God, this is a tough segment, everybody.
Hey, they have. Hey, by the way, Mitchell looks decent. Cooper looks like somebody.
All right, so we're building right now. You come up, 2 straight games,
yeah,
no
but
turnovers.
You can't win a Super Bowl without the number one position being effective.
Okay, but how good does he have to be to get back there?
50% better than he is now.
All right, can we get to that point?
Well, they allow it because you say this. So you think they're going to go and run the ball? I saw an article in Sports Illustrated. I don't know if John wrote it. or if that was him. But there was an article in Sports Illustrated that has been saying exactly what I said. So you think they're going to roll into Kansas City and have two guys making $51 million and a quarterback making 50, and they're going to run the ball 40 times, and they're going to be a run team? That ain't happening.
All right, well, let me ask everybody this, because I keep getting that from John, and I said this to him this morning. I'm like, all right, fine. We're not going to run against the Bengals because they have a higher-powered offense. Do we feel like we can win a shootout with Joe Burrow?
No. Hey, I just checked the Bet US line. It's now 3.5.
Yeah,
Bengals. So that answers no.
Yeah, so why are we trying to get into a shootout with Joe Burrow and the Bengals?
You want to take the ball out of your quarterback's hands so that you can, like Greg Cosell said, you're a running team now.
I'm happy to be a running team for at least a couple of weeks. Take out some of this pressure off of Jalen Hurts, who clearly is struggling right now to acclimate. Well, maybe not pressure, but there's more stuff added on his plate. Like Emre said, first year without Jason Kelce, you're reading protections. I mean, he's doing all this pre-snap reading. He's doing everything now that he wasn't doing in the past. It's clearly been too much. He's regressed as a quarterback even more. So take some of it off his plate. Rely on your $12 million running back, who's the second best running back in the league. Run over a couple opponents. But they can't do that. You know why? Because A.J. Brown's going to cry after the game about targets. And then everybody's going to be mad at me for telling you it was a stupid effing comment by the wide receiver of the football team, as this team morphs into more of a running team. A.J. Brown crying after the game about targets. One game.
I don't have to say anything. I mean,
that's why I hated that comment, because I know. Think about what the coaches are thinking about right now. Oh, man, we might have to run the ball this week. Oh, be careful. We gotta make sure we got A.J. Brown his target.
You got to feed him.
Got to make sure A.J. gets his targets. Okay, good. So now we're no longer game planning to win football games. We're game planning to get people stats. Nice.
How about this
approach?
How about this? If Jalen Hurts only throws to two people and only sees two people, why have three people on the field?
It's a good question.
Why doesn't anyone ask Kellen Moore that? Jahan Dotson's never going to be a factor. By the way, the third wide receiver is a factor in Kansas City. He's not a factor in Philly because the guy can't even find a freaking tight end. Holy cow. This has been awesome. I can't. Do you believe the NFL caught up with him? And that's what he's not had the ability to adapt.
And they never did when he was running.
And what the Eagles did was they adapted in style for him.
Right.
And they took that away in that ability of the Giants, because you know what? I think they did what you said, Xander. Sills, don't you think the league will catch up with that RPO? Front office said, agreed with you. Yeah. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to turn him into a passer. You turned him into shit. He's not, and he'll never be. And you took away and you coached out of him his greatness.
That's where we are though in Philly. I mean, what are you supposed to do then if it's an organizational thing and they're pulling the quarterback out of what he does well?
Keep my handcuffs on. Can't do anything about it. I'm handcuffed here.
Yeah, Victor's right. I mean, talking about Cooper Kupp, we can't even throw the ball to Dot. We can barely get Goddard involved when everybody's healthy.
You know what's really messed up about this whole thing with Dotson, though? I got to tell you. So wait a minute. The Jets get Devontae Adams for a fourth?
A fifth?
A fifth?
Well, no, it's a conditional fourth.
It's a conditional. Okay.
It's a fifth with if it meets the conditions, it's going to go to the fourth. Let's see.
So who do you think is better, a 32-year-old Devontae Adams or Jahan Dotson at 25?
Well, I don't know. I guess for contract purposes,
Oh.
Well, no, I'm not saying that justifies a trade. I'm saying that the Eagles couldn't have made that move. So it's not
a third rounder.
Well, they traded back, right? They got a fifth rounder back. So they traded back, 60 spots?
Okay. It's still a 3.
Still a fucking 3. You picked up 5 and you got rid of a 3 for Jahan Dotson. Was that worth it?
Hey, so wait a minute. Because he's 25 and he's cheap, according to Howie.
Yeah.
He's worth a 3?
Dude, welcome to having a $100 million offensive line, $65 million in wide receivers, a $55 million quarterback, and a $12 million running back. You don't trade for expensive wide receiver 3s, especially when your quarterback can't get through his progression.
He's a Nissan 300Z.
That's too nice. Dotson's not.
Do they even have? I thought you were talking Datsun Forte. They don't even have Datsuns anymore.
No, they're not. Datsun's like an old beat up Civic.
Yeah.
I guess he's a newer one. He's just a
Do
newer.
you believe this out of this guy if Shane was still coaching? Yeah, I do. Shane would have adapted the RPO offense when the defense. Yeah, I believe this.
Look at this. Big Smooth says Hurts is the highest graded quarterback with a clean pocket. I saw that stat. How do they judge that, though? Because Jaylen doesn't stay in a clean pocket if his life depended on it. The dude bails from every clean pocket I've ever seen, Big Smooth.
He had 14 attempts, and he was the cleanest quarterback in the pocket.
And he wasn't. We had 18 dropbacks. He got sacked 4 times.
And he missed 2 touchdown passes. Look at this guy. This guy will try to make a stat where this guy is better than Mahomes. How about the guys who put the stats up that Mahomes has 6 touchdowns and 8 picks? And I'm like, yeah, here's the deal, though. Mahomes is going for a 3-peat, and he's 6-0. Dude, don't put his name in there.
I'm so done with that on Twitter. I see people, oh, no. Even people are responding to the Cosell tape. Now do Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, yeah, do the 3-time Super Bowl winner, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, and the best quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, you're right. You're right, everybody.
So explain this to me. How can the Chiefs have the best head coach, the best D coordinator, and the best GM and the best quarterback?
That's a good question. You know why I think Andy Reid's the best head coach?
Organizationally, too. He's organizationally.
Yeah. But you know why I think he's the best head coach? He's got no ego. Like, when I was watching that show, The Quarterback, I was telling people I was watching that on Birds 365. I never watched it when it came out. I don't know why. Yeah. I skipped past the Marcus Mariota bullshit because I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Marcus Mariota starting in Atlanta. That was a stupid part of it. But I like the Kirk Cousins part, and I like the Mahomes part. Andy Reid basically gives these guys a shell of an idea, and he lets the players go out and like really put it together. Like, he's like, Patrick, if you see this, you can have Kelsey do this, or have your ex do this, and and I'm like, holy crap, man, that is incredible the way he allowed them to really spread their wings.
Can I give you one moment where that works? How about when Travis Kelsey pushed him on the sidelines in the Super Bowl, and everyone had a cow about it, except Andy Reid after the game? He goes, he's an emotional kid, man. I love the kid. I don't take anything personal. Where some coaches would have a massive problem with that and create an issue with that, but his winning covers all that. By the way, I pointed this out to you. So let me get this right. Andy Reid's coaching staff. So you had Sean McDermott in the building, and now he's the head coach of the second best quarterback in football in Allen. Okay. So you had John Harbaugh on Andy Reid's coaching staff, and he was the special teams guy, correct? And now he's got the reigning MVP and the best team at football, and he's won a Super Bowl, and he's going to Canton, correct? Okay. So Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, and he was with Andy in Philly and in Kansas City. Is that right? Okay. So, and you had Jim Johnson, who was hired by Andy Reid, considered the best assistant coach in Eagle history there in Philly. I ask you this, if 14 years was enough, granted, why didn't you hire one of the guys off that Reid coaching tree that has gone on to have insane success throughout the league? Or is that, again, the front office thinking that they know better in hiring who they think fits the narrative for them when it comes to controlling the narrative of the franchise? I mean, how do you allow all those coaches to walk out your building when you know that every one of those coaches have gone on to insane success in other places off that Andy Reid coaching tree? How's that possible?
I mean, look, do the Eagles keep picking the wrong guys, or do the guys who are here keep messing up everybody that comes here? I don't know. It's a fair question. I mean, you bring up a good point, and I think you're right. I think this organization has a lot of ego. Whether that's good or bad is up to you. And they believe that their way is the best way to do it. And they force everybody into that mold, it seems, versus, you don't think that Kansas City owner is saying a boo up to Andy Reid about what to do on the field. I mean, he's not saying a thing.
Clark Hunt is not saying anything to him. And it almost goes down the same line, Xander, that when you have Bob Kraft up in New England during the Belichick era, you think he was parachuting in and trying to tell him exactly what was going on when it came to when it came to him having to decide decisions. The only time he ever parachuted in was Deflategate, Spygate, crap like that. He wasn't parachuting in there in that situation there, getting involved in player situation. That was all Bill Belichick, man. That was all Bill. I mean, at the end of the day, dude, this organization, again, look what they're doing there. Hey, and for what people keep, and I don't like it, is that many people here, by the way, hold up for a minute here. Here's the notable coaches that you had on the team in 2004. Holy shit. So here were your coaches on the 2004 team that lost the Super Bowl to the Patriots. You had John Harbaugh, special teams coordinator, Sean McDermott, Marty Morningwig, Pat Shurmur, and Steve Spagnuolo, linebacker coach.
Wow.
Now I know where Spagnuolo and Andy Reid have their connection. He was his LB coach in Philly. Holy cow. That is the best coaching staff. And I promise you, Jeffrey Lurie did not pick those guys because those guys are now in KC. Oh, and by the way, Brett Veach was a special teams assistant coach on that team. And now he's the best GM in football.
What makes you say he's the best GM? Just because he has Mahomes?
Well, because he has gone out and got the right personnel for Andy, and they all fit.
It's true.
Every player how about this? So Kareem Hunt hadn't played a game in 375 days. He gets 106 yards rushing? How does that happen? I guess only.
You know what else I think they did is I think they were ahead of becoming a defensive football team. Like they didn't go into that season with an ego and say, "Oh, we're going to be the best offense forever." They switched. They were like, "Let's get this defense built up." Now they're a defensive team right now. They really are, right? I mean, they're a defensive team, and that's credit to Brett Veach. He does do a good job. I mean, shit, I will give him credit. And you bring up a good point. They got the best coach and the best quarterback in the league. You tell me.
And they got the best coaching staff. Yeah, Brett Veach is on that team as an assistant. And by the way, he worked with John Harbaugh on picking personnel. He would have fitted in Baltimore too, dude. Dude, what happened?
Come on, Victor. That's a crazy comment. Victor says that's a comment in hindsight. Maybe 30 years from now, the next Mahomes falls on Sirianni's lap and he wins 4 Super Bowls. And we're like, we had him in the building. So you think Andy Reid's doesn't have anything to do with their Super Bowl?
Are you under the impression Andy Reid didn't win a division title with Alex Smith? Do you understand they won 12 games? Then next year they replaced him with Mahomes. And for the record, they didn't want to draft, or people didn't want him to draft Patrick Mahomes. They wanted him to draft Mitchell Trubisky, or they wanted him to draft Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I heard Brett Veach was the guy who. Now Andy's the one who I guess traded up.
No, it was John Dorsey that talked him into it. Dorsey.
I heard Veach is the one who discovered Mahomes.
That could be. He went and scouted him, brought him back up for John. If you remember right, John Dorsey was the GM there, and there was a power struggle between Andy and him. Well, he got rid of him, and Andy won that, and he placed Brett Veach in that position, and that's what's happened ever since. And by the way, the scouting that Brett Veach has done since he's replaced John Dorsey has been spot on. Dude, they move off of Snead. Do you know where they're ranked in the secondary now? They're ranked second in pass defense now, and they got rid of the best corner in the league. Dude, the coaching on that place, the last time I've seen something like that, where did you have that dynamic in the building? Well, the general manager was Scott Pioli and was Nick Caserio in New England. And you also had Belichick making personnel decisions. You end up having Belichick, the greatest defensive coordinator of all time, as your head football coach. He brings in savants like Bill O'Brien, Josh McDaniel. Yeah, sure, those guys aren't great head coaches, but that's not what they were hired to be in New England. They were hired to be OCs. Then you have guys like Brian Flores as special teams guys, and you have other coaches that were in there. They're personnel decisions. Who ever heard of Amendola or Edelman or Wes Welker or any of these guys? These guys were undrafted free agents. Chris Hogan, he played lacrosse, and they put him on the team. That's the decision-making that those guys were making in the organization.
Let me ask you a question. I got a question for you. Is Jalen Hurts a Howie Roseman signing, or is he a Jeffrey Lurie signing?
I think he's a more Jeffrey Lurie signing. I think he's more of a Jeffrey Lurie signing. You know,
you don't think Howie Roseman's right now sees some of his deficiencies and knows that he had no choice to pay him because that's what Lurie wanted, do you?
Well, Xander, his actions say to that. Yeah.
I mean, right. He keeps going and adding to the offense.
Right.
And by the way, Howie's smart enough to know it's easy to get offensive moves by the owner because the owner loves offense.
And when you hear the head coach go, the best offensive players are wide receiver, that's already an indictment. They indict their quarterback with that when they say that. Okay? I mean, dude, like you said, this offseason, they addressed the contract extensions and giving Now, I get Devontae's, his time was up, but you had 2 years on AJ. You didn't have to address that.
Yeah, no. That was way.
But again, it was a signal to him to make him feel cool. But by the way, to make him feel
I think they were trying to beat the market. I mean, they knew everybody was coming up, and they did beat the market. I mean,
he's $1 million off of Jefferson, and he didn't beat it that bad. He makes $35 million. Jefferson makes 36.
I think AJ's 32, right? Yeah.
Is he 32? Okay,
yeah,
all right.
So he beat it by a couple mil. Yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, look, I think that's part of it. They do it. They are infatuated with that, though. That's part. I think
why wouldn't you have addressed the money issue with Brian Burns on a 2 and a 5 and $25 million?
Well, they don't like trading picks. We talked about that yesterday.
They don't want to trade picks for picks they can't make.
They don't want to trade valuable picks. And
Get this.
Pete's right. Pete says Howie's trying to beat the market. That's what I just said. That might be why we paid Jalen Hurts early. Jeffrey Lurie said, okay, this is the quarterback I want. And Howie said, all right, well, let me get the deal done now before Joe Burrow and all these other dudes get paid. And then you'd be stuck paying him $60 million.
To even have Hurts in the conversation of a $50 million quarterback is insane.
Yeah, but that's what he's like the 9th or 10th highest paid quarterback now, dude. That's what everybody makes if you're mediocre. I mean, Baker Mayfield got slighted, man. He got like 3 years, $100 million.
And he's outplaying him.
And he's outplaying him in a big way. What's Jared Goff making? He got a big deal, right?
He got a 50. Jared Goff went to the conference championship game last year.
Yeah. He got a 4-year deal worth over 200 with a massive
173, I think, he's making annually.
Yeah, yep, that's what it is. 212 he got. Wow.
And he's got 150 quarterback rating the last 3 weeks. I mean, the guy's playing exceptional football. Dude, I just thought today when I heard that, it was the first cannonball shot across the bow that here, do you think the Eagles will draft a quarterback with a premium pick? I'm not saying first or second, but do you think they'll draft a quarterback this upcoming draft in April?
Maybe that's why they're not willing to give up a 1 for Myles Garrett or Max Crosby. Maybe they know they want that premium pick. I'm not sure. I doubt it. But, I mean, they did it to Wentz.
Right. They drafted Hurts in the
drafted Jaylen right after they paid Wentz.
Right after.
Right after. I mean,
by the way, maybe the new way is hedging your bets because, hey, it worked out in Washington. You know, they gave all those draft picks to the Rams to get RG3. And then what did they do? In the 4th round, they took Cousins.
Third round, they took Cousins.
Okay, they took Cousins and
That's crazy.
Look, a first pick and a 3rd rounder they took in that draft.
First and a third you spent on quarterbacks.
And the third worked out. The third worked out. Man. We're going to get to all your super chats, I promise you here. How do you feel going into this Bengal game?
Going to be a tough game. I mean, if they play it how I want them to play it, I think the Eagles are good enough to win. I don't think that Bengals defense is good. Not that I don't think they're good. They're not good. Their metrics are terrible. They have one great player on defense. They have Trey Hendrickson, who's got 7 sacks in 7 games. He's got 3 games with 2 sacks. He's a beast, and you don't have Jordan Mailata, so that's going to be a big problem. But if you're smart and you can game plan him out or run at him to mitigate the pass rush and open up the game, keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands. This is why I like the running game this week. Forget being a ground and pound team. All signs to me this week say you should run the ball. Why would we want to keep the ball in Joe Burrow's hands? Why would we want to get into a shootout with the Cincinnati Bengals? With Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Mark Chase.
You can't.
You're not going to win. So run the ball. Keep the ball out of Joe's hands for as long as you can. Control the clock. Play complementary football. Set up the play action a little bit for Jalen Hurts. find your receivers when you need them and go and win the football game. You got tons of talent. It's right there in front of you. But if they come out and they start throwing the ball over the yard and Kellen Moore gets pass happy and we go down 7 or 14 points early because, Joe Burrow, by the way, Joe Burrow right now. He got 14 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's got 110 quarterback rating, and he's completing 70% of his passes. What's he going to do this week to the defense who sits in zone?
He's going to go for 4 touchdowns this weekend.
What's his completion percentage going to be?
75%.
It's 70 right now with not playing all zone defenses. He's going to throw for 75, 80% this weekend.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to keep the ball in his hands or play a pass-happy style, we're not built to keep up with it. And this is where I think
that's why you got to run it.
This is where I think Howie is grasping at straws because he's like, we're built to be the shootout team. But they got the wrong quarterback to be a shootout team.
Yes.
But think about how they built the rest of the offense.
It is built for that. The
clear desire for them is to be what the Bengals are in terms of being able to be in a shootout. They got the wrong quarterback for that, and that's not even a knock on the quarterback.
You want to make a fantasy trade here?
Uh-oh.
I'll take Matthew Stafford and put him on that offense.
Oh my God.
They're looking to deal him too.
Dude, you know what's funny is you could put
get him for $32 million.
All right, ready? Let me do an exercise with you. Who would win more games with the Eagles? Jalen Hurts or Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams.
Okay, I'm not going to go there. I'll take Jalen. Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott?
Dak.
I'll take Dak there as well. Jalen or Kyler Murray?
Push.
I like that. Jalen or Kirk Cousins?
Cousins.
Cousins would throw so many yards on this offense, man. I'll take Cousins as well. Jalen or Matt Stafford?
Stafford.
Jalen or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff
for sure. Jalen or Sam Darnold?
I'm going to hang with Jalen here.
I'm going to hang with Jalen there as well. Jalen or Baker Mayfield?
What I'm seeing in Minnesota. I'm not there.
Me neither, but the point is that he's a passing quarterback.
Yeah, I got it.
Right? Jalen or Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield. He's beaten him 2 in a row.
I digress after that because everybody else you're going to take over.
He's 2-1.
Jalen or Derek Carr?
Jalen.
Okay. I just had to make sure I had the right cutoff.
Derek Carr.
Jalen or Geno Smith? Jalen. Come on. I'm not taking Geno Smith. I don't think Geno's a prolific passer. Like Kirk Cousins, like people say
maybe
Kirk
by
Cousins.
an inch.
You're right. Kirk Cousins is like not that good. I get it. But the thing that Kirk Cousins is he is a thrower of the football, man. He's a natural thrower.
We're talking about a guy who fits in with this offense.
Yes.
We're talking about a guy who can move.
They want to be a throwing football team, and they have the wrong quarterback to throw.
They don't have a throwing quarterback.
I don't get why this. And this is not a knock on Jalen. It's really not. It's showing that the organization wants something and is forcing Jalen to try and be that when that's not his game.
What would Lamar Jackson do on that offense?
Well, Lamar Jackson
wouldn't. They would probably ruin him too.
Yeah, that he wouldn't thrive here. They wouldn't do what Lamar Jackson is doing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Because you know what? The head coach in Baltimore has John Harbaugh. The head coach in Philadelphia is a doorman at a strip club.
Well, you think people are pushing back? They think Geno's better. Geno's a good passer.
There's a part of me that thinks Geno's
the NFL in passing yards.
Yeah.
Well, maybe then. No, I'm still taking Jalen. I'm sorry, guys. If you want to take Geno, that's fine. I won't criticize you, but I'm going to stick with Jalen over Geno.
Hey, I'm just saying. I saw that stat too. He was leading the NFL in passing yards, Geno Smith. All right, got one last topic for you before we read the super. Ready?
Oh, my God. I can't even imagine this offense with Matthew Stafford. Wait, let's answer my man Kyle.
Sills and Xander. What's the trade value for Matthew Stafford? Because the contract is $32 million and you owe him money, okay? That has to play into it. So you're not going to get a superior draft pick that you think for a 35-year-old, is he? 36-year-old guy? I were to give for Matthew Stafford, I'm not going to surrender a 1 for him.
No.
I
I'm not giving a 1 for Matthew.
I would give you a 2 and a 5 for Stafford.
That's still rich for me. Give me a third. Will they get rid of him for a
Matthew
third?
Stafford win you a Super Bowl if you gave him a 2 and a 5?
Potentially.
Okay.
But what are you going to do? Remember, this is all buddy.
Who gives you closer to winning a Super Bowl, Stafford
let
or
me just
Hurts?
ask you that. I mean, just so everybody knows that this is a fuddy-duddy conference. It's just for fun. Just for fun.
Yeah.
If you did trade for Matthew, okay, you gave up 2 and a 5. What are you doing with Jalen Hurts? Just putting him on the bench?
No, I'm going to make him my red zone Wildcat quarterback.
Oh, my God. That disrespect is too far from me. He's not Taysom Hill.
Yeah, he'll make him Taysom Hill.
No, I'm not going that far.
Hey, wait. Well, wait. Who gets you closer to winning a Super Bowl, Hurts or Stafford in that offense?
I think probably Stafford. I think probably.
Yeah. What he did in LA, he beat Brady in the postseason 2 years ago.
I don't like Matthew Stafford. I don't know what it is. The dude's a fucking weirdo. I don't know why I don't like him. He's a great thrower.
Stupid weirdo with his stupid.
I don't care. No, I think Hurts is a little weird, but like you said earlier, I like Hurts as the face of a franchise.
I got no problem with him.
I wish he could play better sometimes, but
Tyson, Jalen Hurts. I like it. Look at Xander. Xander can't take
who's
it.
Better? Wait, who's better? Tyrod Taylor or Taysom Hill?
Oh, I like Tyrod Taylor better.
Okay, so you've increased your insult to Jaylen by calling him Taysom Hurts.
Yeah, or you could call him Teddy Bridgewater Hurts.
Yes, Kyle, you're correct. Stafford played at Georgia. That's why I hate that dude. That's right. That's right, Kyle.
And by the way, everyone always was like, "Oh my God, Tebow ended up killing him every time they played." Yeah, well, who had a great career in the NFL? You know, Matthew Stafford doesn't have a 500. Matthew Stafford doesn't have a 500 record.
Yeah, that's because he was in Detroit. I mean, shit, they didn't do anything.
Jared Goff has a winning record up there.
Yeah, but Jared Goff got Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Didn't Jared Goff start 0-7 his first year in Detroit?
Did they? Probably. Sounds right.
His first year in Detroit was not good. I remember Detroit wanted them out of there.
Oh no, I thought he was a bridge quarterback. Now he's making 53.
Now he's by the way, he's playing up to the contract. It's like you said, Jalen got paid and has regressed. Jared got paid and he's having his best year ever. Big difference.
Better. He's
big
totally
difference.
Last question before we do the supers. By the way, if you want to throw super chats, please do it. How concerned are you about Barkley's workload as the season continues? Let me see something here. I want to take a look at Saquon Barkley's carries right now and where he is because, dude, Saquon Barkley has been spectacular when it comes to carrying this football team. Well, let's take a look at carries, where he's at right now. So he's got 108 carries, if I'm not mistaken, as of right now after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's do this here. So that's a lot of carries right now after 6 games. 108.
108, that's a lot.
Divided by 6 is 18, okay? So 18 times 17 comes out to 306. You think that guy can handle 306 attempts this year carrying the ball?
His most ever was 22. He had 295.
And that's before the knee injuries.
Yeah, but remember that the Birds have him for 2 years, like fully 2 years. They might try and really, I don't want to say like beat him into the turf, but they
run him into the ground.
Yeah, they might run him into the ground. I mean,
I would run him into the ground too.
Yeah,
I'd run that pony into the ground until he
295. You're right at 305. Let's say he scales back a little bit. They're resting him in practices. They've said that basically that John
I
said
saw that yesterday.
John said this morning that they're going to basically he's not going to do anything in the week, basically all year, because they know that they have to keep his legs under him. So I got no issue with that. I think he'll be able to hold up. Like I said to you earlier in the segment, man, he looks young to me. Like, he doesn't look like a guy that has 1,300 career carries, which is what he has. He had 1,200 carries coming out of New York. And how many did he have in college? He had like 900 plus, didn't he?
Yeah, 900 plus, like 940.
Yeah. He doesn't look like that to me. He looks spry and young right now. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to change, but it'll be interesting to see how he holds up. But I'm not overly concerned about it. You know what I'd say, though, is Kenny Gainwell is running pretty good this year.
He is.
And I'll get the stats so that we can be accurate for everybody. But Kenny Gainwell has run pretty good this year. He has 21 carries for 96 yards. So nothing crazy, but, you know, if you want to become more of a running football team, let's get him involved. Let's start running a little bit with him to take some pressure off Saquon and kind of give you some versatility in the running game.
I want to read something to you here about Derrick Henry.
Sills is laughing. That means it's going to be tough for me to stomach.
Hold on here.
Go ahead.
So that workhorse in Baltimore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 of the last 6 years, Derrick Henry, 303, led the NFL in 2019. In 2020, he had 378 carries for 2,027 and 17 touchdowns. By the way, the year before he had 1,540 and 17 touchdowns. In 2020, he played in 8 games, had 937 yards and 10 touchdowns. The year he got hurt.
In 8 games, 10 touchdowns?
10 touchdowns in 8 games, and he ended up 9th in rushing that year and missed the entire second half of the season. 2022, he led the NFL off of a knee injury with carries with 349, with 1,538, 13 touchdowns. By the way, every year he's averaged over 4.5 carries a game. In 2023, when all of you in here said he was washed, he led the NFL in rushing carries, 280, with 1,167 on that shitty Tennessee team, and had 12 touchdowns, 4.2 a carry. This year, he's leading the NFL in carries with 134, which is about 358 to 60 carries. He's got 1,863, and he's on pace for 2,150, and he's got 8 touchdowns. He's on pace for 22 TDs, and he's averaging almost 7 yards a carry. He's averaging 134 yards, 124.7 yards a carry.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yes. Hey, all I'll say to you is, how come that guy looks young? Right? I mean, he looks like 5 years ago.
Well, both of them went to better teams.
Barkley too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, both of them went to better teams, and all of a sudden they both look young again. I mean, it's pretty crazy thinking about how many carry. Some of those Derrick Henry number carries are insane. 350.
That's old.
I mean, right now I feel okay about where Saquon's at. I do. I mean, you're on pace for what, 308? We said.
The only running back I've ever seen with that amount of carries and that amount of yardage is Eric Dickerson.
A Warriors Rage is making fun of me. It was an inside joke because Sills has been busting me that Miami has more Hall of Famers than Alabama.
We do.
I know he's a fucking Hall of Famer, dumbass.
I'll say this, dude. Was Mark Ingram and him in the same backfield at Alabama?
I think so. I think Mark was.
And that's why Alvin Kamara left for Tennessee, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So you had them two. You had them two dudes in the backfield, because I know Najee and him didn't overlap.
Dude, that running back room was insane at Alabama.
You had the guy who was the first-round pick to Cleveland, also who turned out to be an NFL best. He wasn't that awful in his first year. He had 900 yards. I forget Richardson. There was a kid, Richardson, at Alabama that went in the first round. He might have been in that room too, Richardson, or he might have been before Derrick Henry. But because there was a guy that got drafted by the Browns, then he went to the Colts. And he ended up getting, and he may not have been there with Derrick, but I think Mark Ingram and him were together. Yeah, Trent Richardson.
Yeah.
Trent Richardson may have been there with Derrick Henry. Dude, you had some crazy great backs.
They were right before I got there. I wish I was there for them. They were right before I got there.
Dude,
you want to do some supers?
Let's do some super. Hey, my wife watched him, Derrick Henry, at Alabama, and she said, my wife, for whatever reason, saw Sapp at Miami. She saw like a bunch of these kids. She goes like this, that Dexter Lawrence at Clemson. My wife's got an eye for that. She goes, Derrick Henry, I guess he leaped over somebody, and I think the Sugar Bowl or some shit. He jumped over someone, and then he turned around and ran someone over too. She goes, that guy is the best dude in the draft. And I go, he went in the second round. She's like, wow, that is
how did he go in the second round?
He went in the second round.
That is absurd. And Saquon went second overall.
Well, wait, you know why? They thought he had too many carries at Alabama, and that wasn't going to translate. They didn't realize he was going to turn out to be a guy like Adrian Peterson, and he was going to be able to withstand. I'll tell you, too, him coming off that knee injury, turned around at 378 carries the next year. That's insane.
That's crazy, dude.
Dude,
yeah, he's a beast.
He's Nick Saban's greatest player that he's ever coached at Alabama. He's too good. Dude, when he goes to my daughter, honest to God, my daughter, and I'm sorry I'm glazing over him, but my daughter's watching the game and she goes, why does it look like everybody's trying to duck out of his way? I go, he's 6'4", he's 258, and he runs a 4.5. That's why they want to get out of his way. Dude, people get out of his way when he's running. You see that 65-yard run he had last week against the Bucs? Dude, he still looks like he's 25 years old. He is dude, you had some all-star team, man. With all those old linemen and them running backs, they're breaking people's ankles, man. Incredible. Let's do the supers, man.
Yeah, wait. I'm trying to think of Alabama Hall of Famers that'll come up. Derrick Henry, obviously. Julio
Jones.
Julio Jones. Mark Ingram. You think Mark gets in?
No. I think he's a really good back.
Oh, yeah, I don't think he gets in either.
No. Julio will get there. And like I said, maybe Hightower.
Maybe on Hightower.
He won a lot of Super Bowls up there in New England.
Yeah, that's true. True.
Okay, so he may be in that conversation.
I think there's some dudes right now that are showing. Now they got to keep it up. They got a long way to go. But there's some defensive guys like Patrick Surtain, Minkah Fitzpatrick's out there. That dude in Detroit is playing insane right now.
I'm going to agree with Kyle here, man. If Landon puts about 7 Pro Bowlers together,
see, would he be a Bama Hall of Famer because his last year was at Bama? Like if Jay
started at FSU,
I'm not even going to say what I was about to just say.
What? Because I went to Maryland. Hey, listen.
No. I was about to say if Jalen Hurts became a Hall of Famer, would he be an Oklahoma Hall of Famer or an Alabama Hall of Famer?
Well, I take the SEC championship over that bullshit Big 12 any day, and I don't look at.
Yeah, but Hurts kind of reps Oklahoma now.
Yeah, but I don't look at him as an OU quarterback. To me, he's an Alabama guy.
I don't know, man. Hurts thinks he's an OU guy.
SEC Player of the Year.
He graduated from Alabama too. Remember?
Hey, was he an SEC Player of the Year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he was.
He was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. I think his rookie year, freshman year.
The Big 12. Hey, Barrett Brooks. No disrespect, but who fucking cares?
Big 12. Wait, you want to talk about real quick on Alabama football? That's the problem with our new coach. Dude's built for the Big 12. Or the Pac-12. Yeah. He is not an SEC coach. Not an SEC coach. Not at all. He's a fuddy duddy. He's like, remind me of the Eagles. I'm watching him. I'm like, oh, we're being cutesy. We're being cute as hell. Hopefully we can be cute and get past Vanderbilt, but we can't.
Hey, Kamara.
Here we go. Ingram, Richardson, TJ. Now, TJ Yeldon's not going to be a Hall of Famer.
No.
Eddie Lacy, D. Henry, and Kamara.
Kamara
is going to be not going to be.
He will. He'll knock out the door there. And by the way, Patrick Surtain, if he continues his play, that's down the line.
That's what I said. I said Patrick Surtain. Yeah. There's a couple dudes. I mean, Will Anderson, obviously only a second-year player right now, but he's got upside. Wow. Now, I think if Washington was better in his heyday, both those tackles in Washington are really good players, man. Yeah. Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, those are 2 really good players. Now, I don't think they're going to be Hall of Famers because they were in Washington. Maybe if they keep going for a while with Washington being good now, or at least
what Alabama has over we used to have this. We had volume and an all-pro team. There was a time, Xander, that the all-pro secondary was Buchanan, Sean Taylor, And those guys were in the secondary. And the linebacking core was Jonathan Vilma and Ray Lewis and John Beeson. Those were the starters in the AFC.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Miami, and then the tackles were Cortez Kennedy and Sapp. These were all on the all-pro teams at one time. So, I mean, we really, Butch Davis and Dave and all those guys that were on, those guys really did a great job of recruiting, but it suffered over the last couple of years here. I voted for a couple of Alabama guys for the Lombardi Award too.
Oh, that'll be cool. They dropped Barkley's mic'd up. That'll be cool. Oh, good, cool that you voted for some Bama dudes.
Yeah,
by the way, Nathan. Yeah, I think Pete Kamara started at Bama. I think did Saban cut him?
No. What Saban did for him was really cool. He went to him and said, "No." He went to him.
Saban cut him because of off-field stuff.
I thought they went to him and said, "Listen, your carries are not going to be here because of Ingram and Henry, and you're not going to get the carries." So get this: he wanted to. Dude, he had a really nice career at Tennessee.
Yeah, well, when you transfer to Tennessee, you're now dead to me. That's like transferring. That's like transferring to the Gators from Miami.
I can't wait. Until you guys play Auburn, and you have to eat that damn statement that this guy's writing checks that for this new coach, dude. Here's Nick Saban.
He wasn't saying Hall of Famers. He was saying that's the running back room.
Yeah,
that was the famous running back room.
Yeah,
Ingram, Richardson.
Oh, okay.
Lacey, Henry,
wow. DJ Yeldon.
Right, wait. Let me find a picture because there's a picture. Remember the picture that
get the hell out of here. That was the running back room at Alabama.
Here it is. Look.
Holy cow.
Let me pull up the pic. Oh my gosh. That's right, young prophet.
That's right. TJ Yeldon, Eddie Lacy, Derrick Henry, and Kamara.
Look.
Ingram and Richardson.
And sorry, it's small on Twitter. It's not.
All first rounders, right?
Oh my God.
How about this?
Look at them dudes.
All premium NFL players at best. Look at this.
Am I allowed to already start reminiscing on the old times at Alabama?
Hey, wait a minute.
I miss these times.
I'm assuming that 3 dude in the middle there is Henry.
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah. The guy looks like a tight end sitting in there. Look how big that dude is, man. Dude, you guys really did. You guys were just as great at recruiting as we were. And the only problem that I had with your dynasty versus ours is that Nick never let those guys have fun like Jimmy let us have fun. He just never let you guys unwind like that. And I always had a problem with that. Now, maybe because we didn't have social media. We didn't have social media, so we could get
different errors, man. It required a different style of coaching. And you look now, I mean, people are making fun of I'm not making fun of them, but I'm telling you what the commentary is out there in the Alabama circle. That Ryan Williams kid, he's great. There's a picture floating around from some sorority chick on campus who posted him up on Monday or Sunday right after the game, and he's got orange nail polish on. Now, I don't care about the nail polish, but it's a different era, right? I mean, he's wearing Tennessee-colored nail polish after losing to Tennessee. That's our biggest rival, Tennessee.
Hey.
I'm just saying it's a different era of athlete. And when I look at why Nick Saban walked away with seemingly a lot of juice left, I'm like, I think he was done with this.
Hold on for a second. Did I hear Xander just say Tennessee's our biggest rival?
In Alabama?
The youngsters have changed the room, man, because we're playing FSU and they suck, but I don't care. I don't care they suck. Florida State are kids that I know and kids that knew me, and we played all-star games together. And I'll tell you what, I will never say that Miami's rival is anyone else other than Gators and FSU. And Auburn is your rival. And you're going to go
Auburn and Tennessee, Sills.
Dude, it's Auburn and then Tennessee.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
How is Auburn the same team in the same state?
The Auburn rivalry is huge because it's in state and people in Alabama don't have NFL football. College football is their life. It's the Iron Bowl. I know. I went to it every year. It was a great time. I know. It's a huge rivalry. There's a famous clip of Nick Saban. Actually, no, it's not famous. He just did it recently.
He just did it.
And they're talking about and he's like, really, the rivalry is Tennessee. Players. Now, there's a famous video of the dude.
What, burning the tree down?
No. Oh my God. Who's the Alabama guy? He had the famous video and he does this. He does a street interview. Alabama guy.
Dude,
I would love to play this.
Do
I would
you know how
love to
many
play
Auburn? You know how many Auburn people text me when Saban made that comment? And they go, do you hear him say Tennessee? It's a number. I go, I heard him say it. I also heard him say that Vanderbilt's the easiest place to play college football in the SEC, and they got beat. Yeah, man. Are you crazy?
Wait,
here?
look, let me show this. Let me show this. Have you ever seen this?
No.
Man, I hate Tennessee because first of all, it's Tennessee, and I just hate them because they low down, they dirty, they some snitches, and I hate Philip. I hate their colors. I'm not a dog person. I just hate Tennessee, man. Like, and I hate Neyland Stadium. It looks like a garbage truck worker convention, and I hate all their quarterbacks. I hate Tennessee, man.
Describe what you feel about the colors too.
It reminds me. It's not that orange that you can stand. See, I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn. I just dislike Auburn. I hate Tennessee. See, Tennessee's colors is that throw up orange. It's not that orange that you can sit with. It's that puke inside of pumpkin orange. And I don't like pumpkins. So I really don't like Tennessee, man. I can't stress that enough, man. And they losers. They sore losers because they're not Alabama, and I hate Tennessee, man.
There you go, man. That's every time we play Tennessee,
It's that
video,
pumpkin puke.
yeah,
Yellow.
that video goes around the Alabama circle.
Hey,
every time we play Tennessee.
Hey, it's a pumpkin puke.
Yeah, pretty funny, man.
Ah,
So no, look, there's a lot of people, like I just said, they hate Tennessee, man. The Bama people do not like Tennessee. Now I'll tell you this. Nah, maybe I shouldn't say that. Nah, I won't say that.
do it. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know who's watching, Sills. I got people. I don't know who's watching. All I'll say is I took a nice trip to Tennessee when we played them in Knoxville. It was a great time. Let me just say that it was a great freaking time.
Did you get hammered?
Huh?
Did
You get hammered everywhere you go when you're in college, dude. But no, it was good. It was good ass time, man. It was good. It was a good ass time.
It sounds like he had a fun time with a honey there. That's what that was. Oh, now I got it. I got it. We'll move on.
I don't know what you're talking about, Sills.
I got it.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Oh, I'm not going nowhere now. I got the message, man.
All I said is that Knoxville's a nice place.
Hey,
it's a fun place.
I got a stop sign right in front of me now. I got it. I hear it, man. Let's hit them super chats, man. Before you get a text message, you ain't eating dinner tonight. You're gonna have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Polska Trucker checks in. I think that the Eagles have to win this game. If not, we are in trouble after the Jaguars game. The games get a lot harder.
They do. You got Dallas, Washington, and Baltimore coming up on the flip side of that. Oh, my God. That means you got Derrick Henry and Lamar coming up.
Are we if we lose to the Bengals, I think we're fine still. I mean, you could beat a lot of
NFC ain't shit right now.
NFC ain't shit. That's where I'm like,
NFC, no way. Next super.
All right, let's do it. Daniel Bigelow. No, Goff was traded midseason. He went to sleep 5-2 and woke up 0-7. Oh, is that what happened? Wait, is that right?
Is that right? Hey, Daniel, was he traded mid-season? Was he mid-season trade? Was that right?
Jared Goff. Let me look.
That's right. Stafford was a mid-season trade to Los Angeles.
Bigelow is low-key a football savant. He always has information. I love it. Well done, Daniel Bigelow.
Yes. He's very good. His takes are very good.
21 was his first year in Detroit, and he played 14 games.
Oh, no.
I don't think he got traded at 0-7, did he?
Well, maybe he did he start in 14?
Let me look real quick.
Because if Stafford started. No, that may have been. No, it was off-season, Daniel. No, it was an off-season deal. No way. I think he's wrong here with that.
I thought it was off-season too.
Yeah, it's an off-season deal. Oh, good, Daniel. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, it was off-season. It was an off-season deal. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Senor's had absolutely horrific takes today. He's been
Senor, not your best day, my guy.
Not your best day, guy. You have been pathetic all day long. Go ahead.
All right. Keep going.
Yeah.
Hurd and Davis should be enough for Stafford.
No way. Why would they want a fat beluga whale and a third for a premium quarterback? Seriously, Jordan Davis is a beluga whale right now. Okay? Very suspect, not very tough, and a real gentle soul. I don't want a gentle soul playing D-line for me. I want a monster and an animal. Give me a killer whale. Hey, get this. Jordan Davis is a beluga whale, and Jalen Carter is a killer whale. You can't have those two sitting next to one another, in my opinion. One will eat the other.
Yeah, Sills. I knew. I'm watching the first hour and a half of the show today, and I'm like, this is gonna be a tough segment. Sills is in rare form. He was coming. He was coming at us.
It was too easy.
It was too easy today. That's why I had no defense.
Oh, okay, senor. You under the weather today? Oh, it's all right, honey. We'll take a calm on you there. Don't worry, sweetness.
Daniel Bigelow. AJ's 32, and if he would have waited till 26, he would have asked for 40. Oh, contract.
Yeah. Or 14 more touch. Hey, by the way, think about this, AJ. This guy complained the offense had 14 passing attempts, and he still had the majority of them and 90 yards of receptions in a TD. And he's bitching about the offense, going, well, I didn't get, we like to eat too. So what'd you want, 20 touches? This guy, man, please, I'm sick of him already. Pretty soon he's going to be back to A.J. Owens. We're not there yet, but we're almost rolling in that lane here. We'll see what happens here.
Why is the Chiefs GM the best in the NFL, says Daniel Bigelow.
Okay, 3 Super Bowls, 4 appearances. Every single draft choice that they land on, even that kid Galifianakis that they got from Purdue, I didn't think was going to be a star. He is. Yeah.
Or Laptis.
Yeah. No, I like calling him Galifianakis.
It's funny because I didn't like him.
I love that comedian. I love that guy. Galifianakis.
The only comedian I like right now. I've never been a big comedy guy, but the dude I like right now is Theo Von. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Man, he says some shit. There was a clip going around, and not to get political, he was talking to JD Vance, who's running for the president of the vice president of the United States. And he's sitting there and he's like, it's sad you can't even do cocaine in this country anymore. And I was cracking up because Theo Von he is hilarious, dude, man.
Can't even do coke in this country anymore. Well, you can at the White House.
He was talking about the fentanyl. I guess they're all laced, but just the way he said it to the VP candidate was really funny.
But you can do coke at the White House because they don't know whose 8-ball that was. But hey, we digress. Go ahead.
Theo Von's a really funny guy. The Lord's Grace says Devontae Smith has some words with Hurts too because he had -2 yards. Yeah, he can't be too happy, right?
But the cool thing about wait, you don't go into a game often as a receiver and deduct from your statistics. you walk out owing money. Hey, yeah,
you left with less yards than you had going in.
So you walk into that game and the general manager's on your doorstep the next day going, hey, you owe us a game check.
Oh my God. No way Devontae Smith is happy right now. No way.
You owe me
Derek
a game check.
What's up, Derek? Appreciate it, brother. He says Jalen problem is he likes big plays. He want to throw the ball downfield too much. I don't know if that's a Jalen problem.
It's not. It's a
I talked to John about this morning.
Hey, Derek. The 2 dudes that have won the most Super Bowls in the last 25 years don't have big plays down the field.
I know, and the Eagles are obsessed with it. Like, even listen to Sirianni's press conference 2 days ago. When somebody asked him about the turnovers, he's like, yeah, I mean, it's one of our top metrics, right? Our top 2 are always or sacks they asked him about. Our top 2 are always big explosive plays and the turnovers. And I'm like, boy, they really like explosive plays. Maybe that's why Jalen's constantly throwing the ball down the field instead of taking some underneath stuff. I don't know. Derek, you bring up a good point. I just wonder if it's Jalen or if that's the way he's being coached. I'm not sure.
It's the organization's philosophy. You say it and John says it all the time. This is where it is. This is what they want. By the way, I heard someone go, the Eagles are leading the NFL in plus 40-yard plays. And I went, oh. And then I heard someone go, you know who's leading the NFL in plus 20-yard runs? The Ravens. Who would you rather be?
Yeah, I'll take the Ravens.
And who do you think who's closer to winning a Super Bowl with those plus 20, 40? But the Brady and the Kansas City Chiefs are nowhere in those conversations. I don't get it. I don't get the infatuation with that.
My email says I'm interrupting you. My email, you're not here every day. Sometimes I can't even get a word in, and sometimes I got to shut Sills up. All right? Sometimes I got to shut Sills up. Now, I was trying.
Well, unless you're like John McMullen, who I have to filibuster sometimes to say some shit on the post-game show. I mean,
my God. Sileo still cried about like week 2 of the post-game show.
Yo, my God. Well, I had to sit there and the guy wouldn't take a breath. I thought I had an oxygen mask and he was going down scuba diving. Holy shit, man. This guy was deep sea diving on me on the post-game show.
Family. What's up, Sydney?
Hey, Jen.
Best passer, Hurts, Lamar, Fields, or Murray? Oh, God.
Well, whatever you want to do there, just put Hurts last. So let's – you can always start with Hurts last.
Kyler Murray?
Wait a minute.
No, not Kyler Murray. Justin Fields
has a higher QB rating than Hurts does this year.
Yeah, because Justin Fields can't throw a freaking beach ball, dude. Justin Fields is not a better thrower than Hurts.
Well, I'm like,
I'll take Lamar, Kyler, Hurts, Fields.
I'm so glad we're having a debate on who's a better passer, Justin Fields or Jaylen. What a great convo.
Oh, this is brutal. This is a brutal day on here.
I told people this was going to hurt today.
Yeah, it hurt. Let me tell you. Kimberly says, Howie the Hobbit will screw up the drafting of another QB. I'm hoping they realize we are much smarter than they think. Money talks, bullshit walks. Kimberly, good luck with that. I'll just say that.
Hey, Kim, I got your DM the other day, and I'll help you out, and I'll see what I can do. So go ahead. It's all good. Yeah, I like her, man. She's playing safety with Sue for me and knocking out douchebags like M. Reyes and LJ when they get out of hand, or sometimes even Senor. Those are my 2 free safeties, Sue and Kimbo. Boom. How you doing?
I like
all
it.
Good.
Hurts, one read, $50 million. Howie doesn't like overpaying.
I told you he was a one-year wonder. I told you this after.
Wait a second. We're 4-2. Let's let it play out a little bit, Big Sills.
Yeah, wait, folks, ready? You want to hear some deja vu? Sileo, how can you say we're this team at 10-1?
Sills giving us the spark notes.
How can you say that we're this team at 6-0, 7-0? Dude, you're not as good as you think you are. You think you're this. You ain't this. Oh, man. God, told you. Do a little history on Jim Jones.
Wait, you know what I got?
He killed all those people in Jonestown with the Kool-Aid.
I saw. I looked that up. Look what I got. Speaking of history, I think people will like this. I got this book, and it's Ray Didinger.
Ooh.
Oh, wait. Let me turn off my stupid green screen, which is going to block it out. You know Ray Didinger. Come
Absolutely.
On. Ray Didinger's a legend.
Most of the guys that have been on.
I got this. It's called the Eagles Encyclopedia.
Oh, killer.
It's really dope. This is the Champions Edition. It's really dope, but it gives you all the history of the Eagles. And the first thing I read in this sucker, I got it like yesterday. The first thing I read in this sucker was about the owner. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. Hey, hey, I know who Ray is because Ray's like a legendary guy. When I first started working here, there was some dude named
Ray's a legend.
Yeah, there was a guy named Harry something, Harry Reyes or something that I had to do a show with or something, and I was like, "Who's Harry? Who's this guy Harry that worked in Philly? I never heard of him." Tony Bruno. Tony Bruno had to remind me. He worked with me over at 90. I go, "Who the hell is he?" Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I digress again.
Stills is in rare form right now.
Harry who?
All right, we already got that one. We got a couple new ones, I think. Yeah, Anthony Wilson checks in. All these games are winnable except Baltimore. You're not wrong about that. I mean,
nope.
Got some winnable games out
Anthony,
there.
I agree. I think you're in every game because of your offense. Absolutely. And you'll be out of every game because of your offense. Your quarterback. Got to get to these super chats here, man.
We got them all. What do you mean?
No. Anthony just put a new one up. There's 2 new ones here.
Yeah, I got them.
All right. Hey, I know you're a little under the weather now and a little upset with the Jalen Hurts, great Cosell stuff today that your guy can't make the simplest of plays. Hey, dude, honestly, think about something here. You paid a guy $50 million and he can't make a simple throw to a screenplay and a simple throw on a flaring running back out of the backfield, waving his hands, and he can't see it. Now you know why he holds the ball too long. He can't process the information. Look at that. See him? Take a deep breath. Breathe, Xander. Breathe.
John says, must win because if the Eagles fall behind, that means they have to throw with no short game. That's not Jalen's game, and it's on tape for other teams.
And he doesn't throw across the middle.
He is right about that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. We'll see. Anthony Wilson says, Sills, you give Baltimore so much credit, but what have they won since Ray Lewis retired? Guess you've given out silver medals like you do for Buffalo.
I'm just telling you they're a better team right now than you. I don't know where you're hidden that in there. They're the best team in the league right now. They don't play Super Bowls in October, Junior. That's what we're talking about here. Okay, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. What did they won since Ray? Well, I know this, that they have a Super Bowl under John Harbaugh, and that coach is still there. They hired the right coaches, and they hired the right personnel for Lamar. You know. I know they don't go through coordinators and coaches like you do. That's not what Baltimore does. You know how many general managers Baltimore's had in the last 25 years? 2. Eric DeCosta and Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah. Ozzie Newsome does a good job. Derek Willis says, Hurts is not a one read. He just don't like or to take the underneath routes. He definitely doesn't like to throw underneath. That's for sure.
Or across the middle.
But Derek, then explain to me like the mesh route where Devontae Smith is, you can almost reach out and hand the ball to him. He's waving his hands like he's trying to get saved from the middle of the ocean. And right in front of Jalen Hurts, it's clearly his second read of the mesh route, and he doesn't throw it to him. Takes a sack after 4 seconds. I mean, I don't know. Look, I get it. I think you're right that he's not a perpetual one-read quarterback. Right now, he's playing like a one-read guy.
I bet you Baltimore, Anthony, beats the Eagles by 18 points. When
is that game?
3 weeks.
Let's pull up the Eagles' schedule. Where are we at on this thing?
You won't be. They might beat you by 21.
All right, here we go.
They crushed the Bucks by 20.
Let's do a quick glimpse. All right, these are not final predictions. These are just top of the head talking. Eagles, Bengals, Sills.
I'll give that out on Friday, but
okay, that's fair because that's this week, so we can save that one for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jags, Eagles. I like the Birds. Eagles, Cowboys in Dallas.
I gotta think the Eagles win that game.
I do. I can't take the Cowboys. They suck. I know we struggle in Dallas, but they struggle in Dallas right now.
I think Dallas is going to win 5 games this year.
Yeah, Commanders, Eagles in Philly on Thursday Night Football.
Washington. Now, is Jaden Daniels?
I would assume he's going to be healthy.
Man, is that going to be a close game? I'll take Philly at home.
I like Philly there too. Eagles, Rams in LA.
They'll have everybody back by then. Nakua's coming back
Sunday
tonight.
Night Football, November 24th. Is that Sunday Night Football?
I think so. They may get
so they go Monday night Thursday night, and then they go all the way through to Sunday Night Football.
I think Nakua's coming back tonight, and Cooper Kupp is back.
I wonder if that game will get flexed.
So Cooper Kupp and Nakua will be back for that game. I'll take the Rams in that game.
That's a tough one for them. I'm going to take the Eagles. I don't trust the Rams. Give me Eagles, Ravens. I go Ravens. I mean, I don't think we're in their league right now. Ravens. And then you got the Panthers.
Beat them.
Obviously Panthers. Steelers, Eagles.
No, obviously Eagles over Panthers. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Obviously Eagles over there, but Steelers, Eagles. I feel like I like the Steelers too. And then Eagles, Commanders in Washington. I think we're going to split.
Take
So I'm going to take Washington. And then Commanders or Cowboys, Eagles in Philly. Give me the Birds. And Giants, Eagles in Philly. Give me the Birds.
Yeah.
We got a couple tough games.
9-10 win team.
Oh, now you're giving them 10.
No, I'm not giving them 10 because I know they're going to drop one of them easy ones.
Now you're giving them 10, aren't you?
No, I'm not giving. No, they're a 9-win team. I'm not budging off that 9. No way. No. Because they're going to drop one of them Cowboy games. You watch. Okay.
Yeah, they changed it to 4:05 for the Jags. That's right. I'm wondering if they'll change that Sunday night game versus the Rams.
They're flexing a 4-2 team out of primetime games because the quarterback is not sellable.
Well, we'll say the same thing about Joe Burrow then. They flexed him out of 4:25 for a 1 o'clock.
He's 3-4.
He's also got 14 tutties and 2 picks. I don't know what CBS was thinking.
Me too, man. I'm done with that. I mean, what's the game they put in there?
I think
they put Washington, I think, in Chicago in there.
Yeah, which is a fun rookie battle, but
I kind of get it, but Joe Burrow and Hurts?
Burrow and Hurts is a better storyline. Burrow and Hurts is a better storyline than people are giving them credit for. They're the same draft class.
Yep.
Remember, they're the same draft class. They battled in college a little bit. Like, I think they're a really good
Andrew, I'd rather watch that Bengals and Eagle game than the Bears and Washington game. Sorry, my friend. But yeah. All right, where are we on the like list here?
The legendary like list as named by Big Sills. Let me find out. 251. No, 266.
266. Guys, let's try to get that baby up near 350 today. Because John McMullen was moaning and crying today on the Birds 365. When Xander absolutely in a comical moment said that the afternoon show was destroying. And by the way, we're on 2 hours more. And so I was like, what's he crying about? But there,
I wasn't crying.
Not you, John was. Remember, I got a filibuster against John, and now John's got an ass with us having more likes because we have a couple more hours in him. John's got an ego too. Even with the Southern delivery. How y'all doing?
You think John has a Southern delivery?
No, I think it's a slow delivery.
It's a slow delivery for sure.
But hey, I love listening.
Look, we've had John for 4.5 years. I love John because
me too.
And there's I don't know what it is. I think there's like a therapeutic part of listening to John that people love because the dude has gotten views our entire time we've had him for 4.5 years.
You know what I loved last week on the post-game show about John? So John, I'm expecting John to kind of like take some solace and that the team kind of bounce back and look better defend. Here's John. Well, it's the Giants, and you're not really taking anything out of this game, are you? Xander was like deflated immediately. You two guys have absolutely blew up my whole damn thing. That was a performance the guys on, and then John's like this. Well, you can't take anything out of that game. What Xander?
The word J-Mac used this week was there's no transitive properties in this game.
Oh my God. I had to get a thesaurus out and look it up and go, what the hell is he talking about?
John's a smart guy. He really is. I love listening to John, too. There's a lot of people that love John. International says I love John. A lot of people love John. John's a great reporter. He really is. He's great. He's objective. Sometimes,
can I tell you why I like John the most? Honestly, you know why I like John the most, folks? Do you know why I like John the most? Because I have absolutely assassinated that organization. I have gone after everybody from the top down. And John walks into that building at NovaCare every day. And they must look at him and go, come here.
They had conversation with him. They had conversation with him about Big Sills. Yeah, it's safe to say that the Philadelphia Eagles do not like Big Sills. Oh, by the way, a great story I forgot to say. This morning, I got a call after my morning show. It's my pops. I'm like, oh, what's up, pops? How you doing? Talking some business. And he's like, yo, dude, I was down in Philly today in the city. And my dad does a lot. My dad's a very charitable man. So for all the people who criticize my father, they have no clue what my dad does and the kind of man that my father is. I grew up with the best father in the world. And no, we don't come from a shit ton for all the people who think that we're this multi-millionaires just doing it. No, my dad's a great man. But anyway, he was doing something for a charity with Ebod Foundation. And the winner of the charitable giveaway is getting a Jason Kelsey signed, like really cool portrait. I wish I had a picture. I would show it. So my dad met up with Jason Kelsey this morning and got it signed. And he was talking to Kelsey, and they had a good conversation. And he's like, "Oh, I know JAKIB Sports." My dad was wearing his JAKIB Sports polo. So it was a really cool moment. My dad said, and Kelsey asked him at the end, he's like, "You want a picture or anything?" My dad's like, I don't do pictures. I'm good. I'm good. I'm like, that you should have got it. I would have posted it up on JAKIB or something.
No
but
shit.
really cool moment. Yeah, cool to see. Cool that that Kelsey was
Kelsey
talking.
knows. Kelsey knows. Hey.
Yeah. I don't know.
Kelsey,
Yeah, I think Kelsey would. Kelsey's been on JAKIB, by the way, in the past.
He has.
I don't know if he would, because Odyssey or WIP, they don't
right.
like JAKIB. They've been coming for us for years. So I don't know if they would let him, because he does that official hit there.
Absolutely. That's really cool, man. How about this? So Jason Kelsey, who has the #1 sports podcast and one of the top personalities in the city of Philly, knows JAKIB Sports.
Oh, he knows us well. He pointed it out to my dad. So I know you guys. I know who you are. I know JAKIB, and pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Hey, can I tell you what I found out the other day? This is going to be, watch this. Hey, you want me to deflate that story? So I'm tooling around and I'm checking out some of the Eagle players that have responded to me in the past. So I go, oh, here's a tweet that I got from Brandon Graham. I go back over to try to take a look at it. He blocked me. And
Brandon Graham blocks everybody.
And I'm going like, I've never said a negative word about Brandon Graham in my entire life. And he blocked me, and I'm like, has to be because I must have been talking shit on one of his boys or something.
Yeah.
Because he's very protective of his guys. You know what I mean? All right.
Forte, I'm sorry that you don't have a good relationship with your father or whatever it is, but you criticizing me for talking highly of my father will never get to me, brother.
Dude. Yeah.
One of the greatest joys and things of my life has been building a business with my father. It's been the greatest blessing in my life. So, fuck off, Forte.
Hey, here, I'll tell you something personally you don't know about me. I'll tell you this. The greatest time in my life outside of my daughter and my wife and playing ball is getting up at 4:30 in the morning, freezing my baguettes off with smelly fish in the back of a gutted Impala, and going and lobstering and fishing with my grandfather. We did that for about 15 years, and I'm on the boat. My cousin used to come occasionally too. But from 4:30 in the morning to 4:30 at night, my pop, through the summertime and into some of the fall, we had a lobster business, and we would sell them Atlantic Fish Market, some of the places around. I go around with my pop, and those times were so amazing. We're out there in Long Island Sound setting our pots to the Trade Center buildings, and we're sitting out there all by ourselves in a little tiny boat. It was like Old Man in the Sea. That's one of the greatest times of my life, being with my grandfather.
Yeah.
Get this. My pop was one of those guys, never told me he loved me. Every single freaking day of his life, he showed me, though. Every day I knew where it was. My grandfather raised me, and my grandmother raised me, and my aunt is now continuing that and having raised me. So, Xander, you don't have to tell me, brother.
No, I get it. And I don't think Forte meant it in a bad way. So I see your comment, Forte. I appreciate it, brother. I was just clapping back because
because you're sensitive.
Hey, listen, we take a lot of shit that people don't know about, and there's a lot of shit.
Well, people don't know what JAKIB means. You should tell them one day.
People don't know a thing about us. Not a thing about us.
Do you guys know the name?
A lot of shit out there, and I like to push back on it.
Hey,
Xander, it's all bullshit.
People don't know that that's the initials of his of all of his.
Yeah, so JAKIB is now more split, where I'm running JAKIB Sports. It's the sports division of JAKIB. JAKIB is much bigger than just sports. We've been doing programming on radio. My dad has for 14 years.
And religious.
He does a lot. I'll give him at the end. He does a lot of radio programs. He does a lot of political programs. He works with the unions in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Pittsburgh. He worked with a couple years. So he does a lot of programming on radio. And I took the sports division and kind of kept the name that we had. And JAKIB is an acronym for my dad's 5 kids. So my dad has 5 kids. Obviously, I'm one of 5. J is Joseph. A is Alexander. That's me. So I'm the A in Jacob. K is Kateri, my younger sister. I is Isabel. And Brittany is my oldest sister. So,
I love that.
yeah, his 5 kids. That's where Jacob comes from. And that's why the name, people are like, what the heck does Jacob mean? That's what it means. It means a lot to us, so we would never change it.
Hey, folks, you know my favorite things I ever heard out
Philly
of
4 for 4. I wish, brother, but no.
Hey, you know my favorite thing out of that family? The favorite thing I ever heard out of the Krause family was this. So the mother goes like this: "You guys will never find another guy like that Sileo guy ever again." The mother likes Big Sills. The mother knows. I love that your mom knows that too. So
my mom loves Big Sills. Well, if you walk through the house at home, there's 6 or 7 TVs in the house just from the different rooms. Every single one, all day long, has JAKIB Sports playing on every single TV. So anybody.
Wait a minute. No wonder my aunt told me to stop swearing, so I did today. I stopped swearing, so now that I know that I'm on the house,
I'm swearing to around my family, and everybody's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Blame Big Sills." I think Big Sills is bringing it out.
Wait a minute. My aunt got in my ass last night. She goes, "Every word out of your mouth has got the F word." So today I've made a cognizant effort. I've only had 1 F-bomb today, and now I know that the show is on in the Miss Krause household. There, I'm going to do even more of I'm going to make sure I make a cognizant effort to make sure that I do not drop the F-bombs that many times. So, yes, now that I know she's watching, and I knew she did, but I had forgotten. So, great stuff, Xander. Great. Hey, I can't wait to our predictions tomorrow because I gotta tell you, I'm not leaning. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not leaning on a win for the Eagles in this game on Sunday. But we'll see. I'm just not leaning. From your one-read quarterback. What a great day this has been. Thank you, great Cosell.
Hey, listen, the Birds can win this game.
The
Birds can win this game. So don't be going into this game, Eagle fans, thinking we can't win because we're playing Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is great. You're going to have to score some points, but we can still win this football game, and I think we're going to. I'll give you a little foreshadowing of my prediction.
Hey, Tony, if I ever had a swear jar, those super chats? I'd owe you guys.
Tony, I need one too, dude. I need a swear jar too. I swear.
By the way, just so you know, my aunt watches the show. She's in here every single day too, so she watches the show too. Xander, absolutely great stuff.
Shout out to the legendary Aunt Betty.
Hey, by the way, we have been making an effort to try to get Michael. Michael, I think, is still in the air. If we don't get him today, we'll try to get him tomorrow.
Yeah, Michael's one of those cards. He's a wild card. He's a wild. Yeah,
that's how we got him last time. Remember?
Yeah, I think we had one more super chat. I want to read it real quick. Sills, is it possible to get Tom Brady on? That would be a tough swing.
Tom has, get this. So I tried to go through the Fox guys to get Tom Brady on it. Then I tried to go through, his agent, Don Yee. I know Don Yee very well. And Don Yee he's got contractual things with his podcast and with Fox. And so he signed these exclusives. That's why you don't see him on a lot of podcasts, because he's got exclusive deals where he can do like 2 or 3 or 4 a year where he can go on. So it's not like that anymore for him, because now he's a broadcaster. Before he could do it, now he's a broadcaster.
Lock him down, I'm sure.
Yeah, because look, dude, if you're not going to put those turds on from WIP any longer on my program, Tom Brady's under exclusives too as well. Xander, we'll catch you on Birds 365 tomorrow, my friend.
Yep. Last thing I want to plug, shameless plug. Tonight for the night show, we'll have This Week in Pro Football again tonight. Should be a great show. Sal Palantonio will be on. There's a guy from the who's covering the Bengals in the 7 o'clock hour, so we'll get the inside scoop on the Bengals. And then there's your sports betting.
Is it Dave Latham?
I think
Dave Latham, is he part of the broadcast team?
No, I think it's I think it's Jeff Hobson, but I think he goes by Butch.
Okay.
I think he covers the Bengals for the Bengals. So he's like the official Bengals guy now. He might give a slant on the Bengals, obviously, but should be good. And then for those asking for the polo yesterday, a lot of people were looking for the polo. I did add it to the site. So if you want to grab a polo, they are up there. Appreciate everybody for all the great support that's been happening here on JAKIB Sports. We have really
How's the sales been going? How's the sales been going on the merch?
Oh, people love the merch, man. We've got a lot of people that are loving the merch. A lot of people are waiting for the Big Sills merch, so I'm working on that. A lot of people are like, "Hey, I want some Big Sills stuff." So I'm going to try and get some Big Sills stuff up as soon as possible. That's all Big Sills wants too. I mean, the show ends and he's like, yo, where's my Big Sills merch? I'm like, what do you want? Your big ugly mug on a shirt?
Yeah. I want it on a billboard too.
You
By
got
the
her
way,
hoodie today. I love it. Good stuff.
Hey,
Stu.
Anthony goes like this. But do we know Howard Eskin used to come on all the time. He used to do it from his backyard, but he can't any longer because WIP Xnay dad said you can no longer go on the Sileo show because he's taking views away from us on our podcast.
That's exactly what they said.
That's exactly. Hey, Sander, we'll catch you tomorrow, brother.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Big Sills. Great show, man. I'll catch you tomorrow.
You got it. All right, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you. Super chats go to the top. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Please hit the like button. Oh, by the way, I've been derelict on my duties today. Make sure you guys check out our great website, especially for like games like tonight. What do we got there? We got Minnesota and the Rams tonight. Our great friends at BetUS. If you're looking for a betting house tonight, you could start your season with BetUS or throughout the entire weekend for college football on Saturday and also the NFL on Sunday and Monday. We have teamed up with them here at JAKIB Sports, and right now, the YouTube 150. That's right. Sign-up bonuses of up to $2K. Also, crypto bonuses of 200% are there for you. Second is 125%. Third is also at 125% in sign-up bonuses. It's the home of Michael Vick. BetUS.com.pa. That's BetUS.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year, live wagering on all major games. BetUS.com.pa. That's BetUS.com.pa. We appreciate you guys so much doing that. Please hit the like button. Again, we appreciate it. We're going to get to our grades. We have been also derelict on that a little bit, on how I saw the guys play against the Giants as they get ready for the Bengal game. We usually do that every Thursday, so we'll do that here in a minute. Before I do that, though, what do you make of Tagovailoa going back on the football field and being activated? There's a lot of sentiment that people say that the Miami Dolphins are not doing the right thing by activating him. What do you think? You got a problem with the Dolphins allowing him to play? You know, I can't be a hypocrite here. On one hand, I kill the league for not protecting the players. And then when I turn around and defend a guy like Tagovailoa for getting on the field, it's not really a Dolphin issue, is it? His contract's insured. So this isn't an NFL thing. Or do you think the NFL owes an obligation to not play him? I mean, would you send your kid out there? Yes, Big Sills, Tua can die out there. There's no waiver, Yale. He doesn't sign a waiver. There's no waivers in the NFL. Or there's no waivers. Look at this. Cosmo Sills, if I wear a Sill shirt around Eagle fans, I'll probably get jumped. Don't worry about it. Once they bench that guy Hurts, they'll treat you like a king. You won't have to worry about it. Here's my take on Tua going back out there. I'm with Yale. Hey, good luck to you, man. It's your personal decision. He made that decision himself. I don't think he talked to his family. I think he probably got some insight from him. But that's a personal thing, man. Would I die on a football field? Yes, I would. I would. I can't think of a better place. I can't think of a better place. I think people think that you don't put your heart, soul, and health into playing in that league. You can't be half in. You can't be half in. You've got to be all in on that. Life, dedication, sacrifice, all of it. Yell goes, he doesn't have to play. Right. I wouldn't send my kid out there. And this is what I would say to James. I wouldn't send mine either out. Hey, James, so you know, my daughter was playing rugby, right? Do you know when I went to her games, do you know the number one thing that I prayed for? I never prayed for a win. Then again, I never prayed for a win when I played. But I just watched the clock every day. I watched the clock all day. And when that thing got down to the 80th minute, I was so happy she didn't get hurt. I didn't care if they won. I didn't care if they lost. I just didn't want her to get hurt because it's a pretty physical game and you got to play both sides. And she plays all 80 minutes. She did for 4 years. She was captain for 3 years of the team. national title contending team, top ranked team in the country. And I'm just sitting there watching the clock. So she didn't get hurt. When you have a kid, you look at life different. When you're a kid, you look at life different. You don't care. You put your hand in a boiling pot of water. You thought it could help you win something, make you bigger, stronger, or faster. You didn't care. So I got to kind of think like a kid when you're talking about Tua. You got to think like a kid. Kids don't make the right decisions. They make passionate decisions. And so I 100% support them because that's how I would have acted. No matter what. Hey, I almost died because of football. And what did I do? I made a comeback. My wife's like, dude, you have an enlarged heart. Why are you coming back? NFL had a European league. By the way, James Harrison played in that same league. So did Kurt Warner. And I made all league. I was happy to play. And that was a really fun time for me. And I hadn't played in 3.5 years. I was completely out of shape. I played for a guy by the name of Jalen Hall. And he goes, how's your health? I'm like, yeah, it's going to take me some time. So it used to take me incredible. Hey, Yale, you should have seen it. I hadn't played in 3.5 years. Maybe it's 2.5 years. I hadn't played. I think it was like 29. And I hadn't played, but I wanted to try to finish it up. And so I got there and he come over to me, Galen, and he go like this. He goes, how you feeling? I go, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could. It was before the practice, and right before practice, I got loose enough where I could go through, and then it got better and better and better, and I started getting in better shape. And then I got a contract with the Lions because I was playing so well. Yeah. Lions came down, watched me play. Lions signed me to a $250,000 a year contract for 2 years. And they signed me, and I was like, okay, well, all right. My wife's going like this, how are you feeling? You okay? And I'm going like, yeah, So I feel for Tua, man. Spin says the NFL should be more concerned about a player who continues getting concussions. Yeah, man. And plus the NFL is afraid of concussions. See, the only time this is going to change is when a guy dies on the field. That's when the league will have to answer for it. Until then, no. Okay? That's not going to happen. Someone has to die. All right. Let's get to the grades. I think it was Abe that started this segment. Some of you guys bring great content to the table. Great content. Yeah. Hey, Sue, isn't it crazy? I end up 2.5 years removed from having my last rites read to me. It was crazy. I'm laying in bed eating, like I've told you guys before, Taco Bell. Kim had gone out, gotten Taco Bell. We weren't married at the time. She brings me a Coke. Taco Bell. I'm eating Taco Bell, and the priest comes in with a Bible and 2 nuns because I'm Catholic. And they go, are you Dan Sileo? And I'm like, yeah. I'm here to read you your last rites. I'm like, I'm eating a burrito. They started laughing. It was, we all started laughing. I go, we're eating a burrito? The doctor was a Florida State guy, and he started laughing. Dude, it was the funniest thing. I swear to you. They walk in. I got the burrito and the Coke in my hand. My girlfriend, now wife, is sitting there, and they go, we're here to read your last rites. And I go, over a burrito? Yeah. I'm like, they go, no, you have meningococcal meningitis. I'm like, I was in a bag. And I go like this, we're eating a burrito? My aunt used to call every day getting the update. My grandfather, who was alive at the time. It's crazy, man. It was a crazy time. Yeah, my girlfriend goes back the first time to meet my family. It was the first time for Christmas. My aunt had bought her like 29 presents. We talk about that, me and my wife, to this day. 29 presents. They didn't know her from a can of paint. All they know is that she saved my life. It was like, yeah, she saved my life. And so it was crazy. Hey, oh, crazy. I had a burrito and a Coke in my hand. Hey, we're here to read you your last rites. And I go, over a burrito? Oh, man. Hey, hit the like button. Burrito is that what they called them back in the day? Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, no, she was immune to it. She was the only person in the building immune to it. She was immune to the meningitis. It was the craziest thing on the planet. Everybody else came in with like suits on, hazmat suits and everything. Kim's in there just with like normal, and she was immune to it. Craziest thing we've ever seen. Okay. Sue goes, that's how us Italians roll. Buona fortuna to you. Way to go, Sue. Buona fortuna. All right. That was crazy. All right. I'm going to give you the Big Sales weekly grades for your Eagles. You want to start on defense or offense first? By the way, and then we'll take a look at tonight's game, Minnesota versus the LA Rams tonight. I think they got to win. They got to win. Incredible stuff, Sills. Hey, just so you know, Matt. So I started getting sick with the Cowboys. I blew my calf out. And I'll start with the defense. Hey, I blew my calf out. Couldn't really walk. All of a sudden, I started getting ill. I was like Brian Piccolo stuff. And Jimmy had seen me for 3.5 years at Miami. He's like, what's going on here? Come here out of breath. I'm like, I don't know. So that's when they told me to take a dive. You see Tony Wise and Dave and Butch who've been on. They were telling me the whole time. I didn't want to do it. It was crazy. It was stupid. They gave me $75,000 out the door. I would have been the Cowboys for 5 years. I would have won 3 Super Bowls. Hard-headed, stupid Sills. Dumb move. But at the end, I got really ill, and Jimmy sent me to the hospital. So I got checked out. They said that I have a cold. So I went home, and I fainted. My girlfriend then, my wife, had to carry me down the steps. We lived in this high building. Carry me down the steps. They did a biopsy on my hand in the emergency room. And they said I was dying. And I'm like, what? She's like, she just met me. And she goes, what? She says, this guy's dying. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I go, do not call my family. And so I go, Kim, do not call me. So they took me in. I didn't wake up for about 2 days. I came out of the coma 2 days, and I was paralyzed. I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair. And then I went into crutches. But I was in a wheelchair for about a month and a half. Then I went to crutches. And yeah, I was in a wheelchair. My wife's girlfriend, she's rolling me around Fort Worth Medical, dumping me out of my funniest thing you ever seen in your life. And I couldn't walk for about 3 months. I couldn't walk. And Jimmy came and saw me, and he goes, why didn't you tell us? I go, I didn't know. All those coaches who love me like that said, dude, we would have never cut you like that. We were telling you to take a dive. And I go, I know, man. It was, and Kim's like this at the time, you stupid ass. And I'm like, he is. Well, dude, I was almost dying. I was dying. And then I got better. And so after a while, I was working out. I started running again. The NFL called me. And Chet Franklin called me. And I can't remember, somebody else called me from the NFL and said, hey, why don't you play in this new league? We'd love to see if we can get you back in. And I went, so we went down to San Antonio. I worked out for him. Then they called me and said, hey, Orlando, Galen Hall wants to put you on the team. And get this, back then, I think the salaries were like 60 grand. Today's number, it's probably like 100. So it was like 100 grand for about 4 months of work. And I said, sure. And so we went there and I said, I'll try it. I go, I don't know if I'm going to be in any kind of shape to do it though. So Galen, who was a Florida Gator coach. Okay. So get this. Galen was a Florida Gator coach and Kerwin Bell, who I had broken his spleen, and Scott Mitchell were there. And I had separated Kerwin Bell's spleen at Gator Field, Florida Field. I mean, me and Jerome killed him up there. And Galen Hall goes like this. He's like, I know who you are. I'm going to give you a chance to make this team. And that team only kept 39, even more so less than 47, because they couldn't pay all the salaries. And sure enough, Galen, who was a Penn State guy, by the way, how ironic that would be. He's a Penn State guy and a Florida head coach. So we're walking in, Willie White, Carl Dunbar, who's the D-line coach now for the Steelers. We're walking in, and it was a big debate. We were playing you guys will love this. We were playing a 34 defense. So it was either me or this kid from Alabama, Willie Wyatt. Yeah, Xander, a kid from Alabama, Willie Wyatt, was a really good player for Alabama. We're walking in. It's the final days of cut. And we're walking. Willie's with me here. I got Carl Dunbar here, and Galen's in front of me. And that defensive coordinator was Charlie Bailey, who was the D coordinator with the Gators. Is the D coordinator of this. By the way, we went all the way to the championship game. He turns to me and looks, he goes, which one should I keep? I said, me, cut him. Everyone started laughing. He goes, nah, tomorrow we're going to change the defense. We're going to play a forefront. I went, what? We had practice for 2 months, a 34. But because they wanted to keep us both, they changed the next day. We were playing that Saturday or Sunday. We were playing some team from like the New Jersey, New York Knights or something, or somebody from like the Toronto team or the Montreal Machine or something. We had to fly up to Montreal. And he goes, now we're playing the forefront. I'm like, we practiced 2 months in a 34. And he goes, no, we're going to go to a 43. I was happy because I'm a 4 guy. I'm a 3 technique, not a nose. And that's how I made that team. And then I ended up getting a contract from the Lions. I showed you that receipt that I got. One of my sign-up bonuses was a roster bonus from the Lions. This is one I got when I made the roster. I got $10K. Was a roster bonus. And yeah, and I got a signing bonus, I think, of $45,000, which is probably $100,000 today. So it was cool, man. I mean, Yale, in a matter of 5 months, I made $350,000 today's money. That's crazy. And that was the story after coming back from almost dying. Crazy shit, man. Stills is Clowney a bust? No, but he never lived up to being the pick that he had when he came out of South Carolina. Okay? Yeah. Man, what a crossroads to be at. Deep stuff, Sills. Forrest, yeah. It was, hey, man. Sitting there on the bed, and now when I was really sick, I did think I was dying. I couldn't walk. I mean, I couldn't breathe very well. It was pretty tough. 80% of the people I get what I had die. And my aunt will tell you. I mean, I was pretty close. I mean, I have no idea. And then 2.5 years later, I'm playing football again, which was crazy. I don't know. But so again, I get where Tua is. I do. Sills, anything you bought with your first paycheck? Yeah, I bought a Rolex. Dude, I was stupid though. At one time I had a Corvette, which was given to me by my friends at Miami. But I had a Corvette. I had a Lotus Esprit. I had a 911, and I had a Maserati Quadriport at the same time. Yes, my aunt is probably sitting here going, "You're so dumb." Hey, and I had, believe me, hey, I spent money like a whore. Dude, it was so stupid, man. So, no. My dad said that to me when I got the Lotus. Yeah, that looks like it fits. Oh, man. Oh, so dumb, so bad. Yeah, I had a Porsche. I love that Porsche, by the way. I had a Maserati. I had a Lotus. And I had a Vet. I had all those cars at once. Oh, my God. Oh, cocaine? No, I couldn't do drugs, dude. I didn't do drugs back then. It wasn't my deal. Are you crazy? Somebody like me doing coke blew my heart up. Glad you're still here, Sills. Love you, dog. Can't wait to meet you. Xander calls me the Black Sills. Well, wait a minute, Akbar. We're probably related. You know what they say about hey, Akbar. You know what they say about the Italians and the brothers? Hey, Akbar, right? We're probably related somewhere, dog. Right? Hey, right, Akbar? We're probably related, man. The brothers, the brothers and the Italians. How you doing? All right, let's start with the defense here. Okay. This is the grades for the Giant game. Milton Williams. I gave him a C+. I think he's playing good ball, man. By the way, I'd offer him a contract to stay in Philly. I wonder what he's going to do at the end of the year. If you were him, would you test free agency? You might get more money in the open market. The Eagles are going to try to undercut him. Milton is not getting enough playing time, says Senor. Best take it a day by my friend. He's right. Needs to be getting more. Completely agree. Yes. Jordan Davis. I gave him a C-. It's about time, dude. You're taking all the single block and Carter's taking all the double teams. I mean, dude, you got to start showing up, son. Jalen Carter. I gave him a B+. I think he's playing good ball. I thought he had a good game against the Giants. Brandon Graham. I gave him a C+. I gave Huff a C. First time he showed up. That's probably more of the take right now when it comes to Milton Williams. He isn't really excelling. There was one stretch, I can't remember what game it was. Maybe it was the Atlanta game where I saw him show up a lot. Zach Bond, I gave him a C. Thought he had a good grade. How about this one? Thought I'd say this. Kobe Dean gets a B+. Still struggles in space and cover. But he's active and he's productive. I love those two words. Active and productive. Okay? Like that. Active and productive. Josh Sweat. I gave him a B+. Josh has been the most consistent down lineman for the last month. Okay? I mean, I think he's had a really good year. Plays with physicality. I think he's a good football player, man. Quinyon Mitchell. Corner. I gave him a B. And I think that's great for a rookie. Playing corner in today's NFL, I think that's outstanding. Gardner Johnson, C-. I think he's had a horrible year. Blankenship, C. That's kind of who he is. He's an average player. Darius Slay, give him a C+. I don't think he's doing anything exceptional. I don't think he's killing you. So I give him above average grade. Cooper DeJean, I gave him a C+. And he'll improve. Now let's go to the offense. Right tackle, Lane Johnson. A. Highest graded offensive tackle. Now, albeit it's right tackle he plays, which is the lesser of the two, but he excels at it. In pass protection, he's number 1 in the league. So he gets an A. Tyler Steen. I thought Tyler Steen played well. I gave him a B. Cam Jurgens. This was a difficult one for me. He got murdered in the first half by Dexter Lawrence. But the pull around to get up under the second level, he couldn't have played that bad. 270 yards rushing. So even though Lawrence had 2 sacks and he's a premier player, you still have to take into consideration they ran the ball for 270 yards. I mean, shit. He couldn't have played all that bad. It's just those sacks were overwhelming. So believe it or not, I gave him a C+. And again, some people would go, that's too high. And I'm like, well, they won the game. The quarterback threw only 14 attempts, and they ran the ball down the Giants' throat for 270 yards. Something was there. Yeah, but Lawrence had a boatload of tackles and sacks. I get it, but he's the center that sets everything when it comes to running the football, and they ran the football effectively. I think Landon Dickerson is having a great year. Landon Dickerson is one of the top 3 offensive guards in the sport right now. He's one of the top offensive guards in the sport. Fred Johnson, another tough guy to grade. Got absolutely murdered early by Brian Burns. But in combo blocks, knocked people off the ball, settled down in the second half, and I agree with Jordan Mailata. I thought he rallied. And I gave him a C. And by the way, I saw somebody in here go, Silsey got ran over by Brian Burns. Well, that's going to happen. Do you know how good of a lesson that was for him as he lines up this week versus Trey Hendrickson? Hey, dude, He's got to take on Trey Hendrickson after coming off of taking on Brian Burns. This guy's going to have the toughest assignment, not Lane. He is. He has the tougher assignment. Lane has the lesser assignment. Calcaterra, he can't block to save his life. C-. Dotson, he's a non-factor. I don't know why the Eagles run a 3 wide out set. Greg Cosell's right. What's the point? You don't use it. You don't do anything with it, really. And you just should, you know what they should do? They should put another tight end at that 3rd wide out and get somebody in there that can block, or a blocking wide receiver, because that would be more effective for Barkley than having a pass catching guy, because you don't really use anything in the passing game with that position. If you're going to do anything, why don't you make it part of the run game and put a wide receiver in there that can block in the run game? That the Eagles play with 10 players on the field every time they line up, because that position's never used. It's been that way for 3 years. It's totally because of the quarterback. Devontae Smith did great in the blocking game, was not effective in the passing game whatsoever. But he's so good in what he does, and he does his job, and he doesn't complain. I gave him a C. I mean, still, he had -2 yards. Well, he didn't complain, and he was throwing his body around in the run game. And they had a great game running the ball at 270 yards. That's not why you're paying him 25. You think you're paying Devontae Smith $25 million a year to throw his body around in the run game? Nobody in their brain cells thinks that's true. AJ, B+. Every time he steps on the field, he's a force. Saquon Barkley, I don't hand these out. A+. Gainwell, I gave a B+ to. And now Jalen Hurts. What grade would you give Jalen for that Giant game? What grade? C, D, no D. B, too high. I gave him a C. You know why? Hurts stayed out of the way. They kept Hurts out of the way. Didn't give him a chance to turn the ball over. I mean, he did have 2 TDs, right? Okay. All good. Don't forget, guys, our great friends at BetUS. This is your place for you during this football season, for you to team up like we did here at JAKIB Sports with our friends at BetUS. YouTube 150 sign-in bonus up to $2K. Your second at 125 is 125% in sign-up bonuses. Also, your third is 125% when it comes to sign-up bonuses. Yep, there it is, the YouTube 150. Make sure you guys sign up all the way to 2K. 200% also in crypto sign-up bonuses are there for you as well. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games like tonight when you have Minnesota versus the Rams. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. When we come back, we'll give you our take on tonight's Vikings and Rams game. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Hang on here. Let's see what Xander says. Oh, okay. You want to hang in there? All right. So Xander wants to hang in here all the way until 57 here. So we'll hang in here then too. We'll take a look at that game now then. Minnesota versus the Rams. Who you got tonight? Boy, I think Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell have done a great job up there with that coaching staff. Dude, they have coached the turnover out of Sam Darnold. At least up till now, they have coached that out of him. Aaron Jones has been spectacular running the football. You know, and this is where I go back to the Cowboys again. The greatest free agent market in the history of the National Football League, and you land on Zeke Elliott, and you could have had Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, or Aaron Jones, and you land on Dalvin Cook, and you land on Zeke Elliott. One guy who you're not using, and another guy who you're using because he's a Cowboy legend, I guess. Cowboy legends, I was told back in the day, win Super Bowls, not the hearts and minds of Dallas Cowboy fans. That's the legend. Hey, by the way, one of the reasons Jason Kelce is such a legend in Philly, he also has a Super Bowl ring, and he also has that phenomenal outfit that he was there on Broad Street at the party. I mean, let's not forget that. Guy's a champion. I mean, you celebrate some of the greatest athletes in Philadelphia sports history, but the ones you remember the most are the champions. That's why Joel Embiid and Bryce Harper, they're the same guy. Super talented, never deliver. Damn, but Harper's so good. I know. So is Embiid. And I mean, okay. Like what Harper was traded out of Washington and they won because they got rid of him. They won it the next year. The closest Embiid has ever come to winning a championship is the lip-out shot against Toronto. And that was still a first rounder against the Raptors. Because then the Raptors moved on after beating Philly and went on to win the NBA championship. That's the closest Joel Embiid has ever come to winning an NBA championship. Because who would have thought that maybe the winner of that series was going to go on in the East and win it? Okay? That may be as close as Embiid ever gets to winning an NBA championship, is that lip out against Toronto. Oh, Jimmy, that was the second round? I'm sorry, Jimmy. I had forgotten that the Sixers have gotten to a second round. Okay? The winner moved on to the Eastern Conference. That makes sense. I forgot because through all the haze, I know that mostly that Sixer team hasn't moved on out of the first round. Okay? All right, guys. Guys are sensational, and I can't thank you enough. Tomorrow's a Football Friday. We really appreciate it. Please hit the like button. Make sure you stay tuned for the next show. We so appreciate it. They got Sal Palantonio coming up on the program too as well. Thank you very much. Big Joe and Xander, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow on a Football Friday, and we'll see you on the flip side.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.